So, do we have these chip stacks in order? Sorry, I'm working with tech right now. Okay, so these are the chip stacks. I know you guys have been asking about this a lot. Yeah, Adrian, I might do that. Send me a request, Adrian, on my social media. I mean, on an email. I might do that hand of the day. So I know you guys have been asking about the chip stacks a lot. These are the chip stacks in order, and you could see who is winning and who is losing. So Mike Siegel in seat 1.
You got like 10, Dave?
Down a little bit.
Yeah, 10, exactly.
Drew McCallie,
At this moment.
Matt Glantz, Steve Ruddock, who will be interesting to watch after the still winning, even after that fold with the Kings and losing that hand with Ace King, but mentally, I feel like he's losing. And it doesn't really matter whether you're winning or losing. What's important is what state of mind you're in. And I think he was in a negative state of mind before the break, and it'll be really interesting to see how he reacts post-break. Blesnik fell off the wagon a little bit, had some tough situations, recouped a little bit of it at the end there, still a 6K loser. Abernathy losing as well, lost a big all-in to Blesnik. Sean Deeb, a loser despite playing extremely well. And Joe McCarthy, as you know, main event final table chip leader, losing, playing well in that hand too. And then Tally, the biggest winner, doubling up through Blesnik throughout the day. So these are the chip stacks in the seat in order.
Running it twice, right?
So I do have picking up the action right here. Got some new players. 2 new players. So seat 3, Rep Porter, bought in for 10K. Seat 4, David Baker with 10K. And seat 7, Tom Canuli
I'll give you the hope
with 20,000. Should be interesting.
You're rooting hard for clubs.
Bro, that was like the dream flop and you win. That's so gross.
I do have a blog.
Who's voting for a club 10 or 6?
No, just get a club and end it.
Game over. Wow.
Get out of here.
It's really, honestly, a sick beat you didn't scoop it, honestly. It is. You really
We're having all in here. We missed the action here with the pretty crazy.
Oh, the dealer.
Let's
You're
rewind.
not chopping up the chip.
Let's rewind it.
6.
You run it
Guess what,
twice.
Sam?
I
You're a
called
tip pot
10-6.
again. 6. Yeah.
No, he gets 2, she gets 1.
The 6 has come out like 9 times on a tip pot.
Through the window. What are you doing, man?
Oh, are we doing the tip pot thing?
What happened? She went
Oh, she paid the tip again?
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
I'm sorry. I apologize for laughing. It's just very
Good
funny.
100%. 100%.
How did everybody miss the,
You went bad today. That was really bad. Really bad run. I was very unlucky you didn't lose first one. Very unlucky.
She literally did that. I feel like I read through your head. I was thinking to myself, oh, this cannoli kid, he's one of those who's going to go hard.
everybody missed
He's trying to
the...
direct
Abernathy has been pretty loose pre-flop here.
You missed that?
The last couple days, the last couple
Sam,
hours.
you have
She's
one
continuing that here after the break.
I don't think you're allowed to play
That
anymore.
was a
fucking hand.
10-6.
Screw it to the table all
say something
day
bad,
and
Bo,
then
and then
run it twice. Okay, get it.
I want to be Sam when I fucking wrong.
ODB's right too. She's supposed to win both.
I want to be... He's right.
She really ran really bad that hand, honestly.
All day, you guys.
Yeah.
And trust me, nobody wants Rep to win. So.
And you hit both boards. I mean, like, I don't know how you get so unlucky.
Actually, we do all want Rep to win. What am I saying? I play with Rep in the tournament.
Either way is good. If Rep gets stuck, that's good for the game. And if Rep gets winner, that's good for the game as well.
600.
It's really a
Just
no
get in
lose
there every
situation.
hand, Rep. We're in for you.
600. 600. I hope I have God more than anything in this fucking world.
You know what disappointed me? Ah, you wouldn't get it. Never mind. Why did you show that to me? You just showed me you just got dealt a very bad hand and you folded your big blind.
99%.
I'm so happy you showed that to me. It was so relevant.
Anybody want a drink?
I think the part you're making is simple.
No, me.
I'm good. I'm
We were both in bad shape.
I got my beer 4 hours ago.
Oh, you're right.
What did I do with my phone? Mike, listen, Mike. I'm not. You're up like 10,000. I mean, you know, or 15,000.
We have a party.
Who's counting? 10, 15. It's in the
Play whatever you
ballpark.
want for play pads.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see Ruddock
He's trying to lose 30.
stay in the game.
It do take a while to make some
and recover. That would have been epic. I totally agree with
That ace 10 fold that you took.
the rail here. You guys are right. It would have been epic to see Reddick in the game, regardless of whether or not he won or lost. Just to see,
It worked really good the first
to be a tournament and have him be forced to play. You know, it would be cool to watch. For those of you just joining, Reddick had a huge hand that he folded 2 kings pre-flop against Sean Deeb's ace king, and just kind of destroyed him after that.
There was one in between. Yeah.
500.
Jared raises 500 every hand though.
Last time he made it 600. No, Jared buries it.
5 or 6.
Just wait until Jared open raises to like 700.
I heard that he does that.
He's done that a few.
I don't see any reason to fold it. So what are my other choices?
Joe, make change for Mike.
So Blesnik with a min raise here. Not a play you typically see,
Just give away all your.
but really effective when your opponent is never going to 4-bet you. You guarantee the pot's going to be heads up, your hand is playable in position, and when your opponent's going to check fold every time he misses a pair on the flop, you win the post-flop bet 2/3 of the time. So credit to Blesnik, by far the most creative player in the game,
Cash game player, and look at that.
and look for him to be playing pretty creatively throughout the whole hand.
I'm just gonna try that.
Unfortunately, this won't get through.
I just had a very good experience.
Kid laid down King Joe's in that secret floor.
I'll try to give
He
you.
made a flush.
Yeah, I know. That was a good fold.
Did you know what I did? I went in my pocket and took out all my money on my ring.
Yeah.
I called. He folded, and the ace would have smashed the flop. We looked at,
Oh,
we
he did?
looked at the
As
one
soon as
flop,
you said that,
and we look at one
5
flop,
of the 8
and
people on the
the
table
ace
know I was
king
going to do that.
flop right out.
I heard.
Window
last
ace.
He might
Yeah,
float
window
here,
ace.
There you go.
This is all on
knowing his opponent has 1 pair.
Let him know.
If his opponent's deep, I like this play. I think it's a bad check raise here, unless you're hoping to induce. But I feel like this check raise here is more of an information check raise, which I don't quite like because you allow yourself to get outplayed by the river. And if he's going to check call the turn and then check fold the river in Porter's spot, I really don't like this check raise. So it'll be interesting to see what he does do here.
That was a little out there.
I check.
It's going to go check call on this turn for sure. By the way, I love this play if you're planning on trapping your opponent with the check raise. Again, especially against Blesnik, who's likely to float. So I love this play if you're going to check call the turn and check call the river, but I hate it if you're going to fold by the river. So you got to have a plan here when you do this, and that's something that I feel like a lot of players miss, is they don't think multiple streets ahead. No framework for making decisions. Makes it tough to make the right one. But he had a plan. Good for him. And I think that's a fine play. And that shows that he knew what Blesnik was up to. Good for him. Well played, Porter. And now Blesnik got his hand in the cookie jar and he's going to fold. I kind of like the Hollywooding here to make it seem like he actually has a decision, but
No action on poker night in America.
he doesn't want to have too loose of an image.
Shadow, guys. This is unbearable.
No action.
I just
No
want to make
action.
sure
Two,
that the
two of the first 3 hands. Rep's been all in.
fire system is working.
Only one person.
Was that Mac Lance's seat?
This was Mac Lance's seat, yeah.
You're playing so much better than Mac Lance.
Keep your 500s out in front, please, so we can see them.
Right there on top.
They were buried behind.
They were on top until I hit them from Jared. On purpose.
I just want to make sure that the fire system is working in case you're going to put down that. Burn the place down.
What's the deal with these What's the deal with these sunglasses?
Sorry, bright.
Is it bright in here?
You want it there? I got two.
If Bobby gave
I
I
want
want to get no, I'll take them all. I don't want you upset.
No,
I didn't wear them
Yeah,
first
like
time. I
four-
decided
I
on them.
don't care.
I
I
just
just,
something
I
like
just joking with you.
Didn't match collection.
all right, I'll wear
It's
them.
okay. I can see straight through yours.
As long as we
Yours
both
are-
wear them.
Wait, huh?
We should both wear them. Well,
I don't know how to play cash.
I had the Queen of Hearts
games.
tonight.
You're way ahead of me. In November, I'm way ahead of you.
With the ace of hearts.
They're
They're in your room.
The only time in your life.
Awesome through the window. Thank you. And Poker Night thanks you too.
Calm down.
That was over the line?
No.
No matter what.
That
you
wasn't
can't
Good
go
question,
over
Ash.
the line.
I mean, I think you could
That was so far away from the
check
line.
call the turn. The problem with check calling the turn is that you always have something, and your opponent's going to play perfectly against you on the river because he knows that you're going to check call the turn with aces, and you're with an ace in your hand, and you're never going to check fold that. So it just allows your opponent to get his equity for free. So I actually think the check raise on the turn is probably even better to protect your equity, especially if your opponent turned to flush draw with a pair. He almost has odds to call you with that. So check raising is great. Well played, Porter, and I didn't mean to beat up on him before I knew what he was doing. In fact, I think he played it excellent. He had a plan the whole time, and he executed. Good for him.
I missed my straddle.
Everybody's winning with me.
Did not mean to miss my straddle.
You didn't straddle? There's not enough action on this game. Come on, man. Just remember.
Remind me when it's my turn. I was busy trying to get my purple chips in front so David wouldn't get mad at me again.
Oh, it was your
I don't
fault.
care. I'm not even in. I'm just a folding machine.
So it was your fault that he didn't straddle.
Yes.
If I had straddled,
Has
I
to be
would have never
somebody.
folded this hand either.
Wow.
Betting a call here on the flop.
You just saved.
What's happened? Just hanging out in New York?
Those orange chips, 1,000?
Yeah.
Interesting. She decides to bet again here.
Talking to you. What world are you in? Are you with me?
It's a great bet if you know your opponent has a
Just hanging
king.
out in New York? It's okay. It's just money. It's just money. Huh?
Strapped him in.
Yeah, Mikey wins actually, but he folded.
Did I miss anything exciting? Apparently not. So that was a quick dinner. We are back here, Poker Night in America at Turning Stone.
You know how it works? First card of the day. Yeah. Card most to the left.
In Verona, New York. 25-50. As you can see, a few players out of the game, a few players in the game. I know Matt Glantz, Sean Deeb out. Rhett Porter, Canuli. Canuli is the
Play a real dealer's choice where the button goes around and it's like
I
this where I first, but like, would you
I believe that is
button to fix stud? People, right? Like, if Mike was doing like a fix stud every time, I never know what he wants.
yeah, we had him there. Dominic Christian was going to join us, but apparently it is Canuli, and I imagine he is the 888's winner. So congratulations to him. Look at that, David O.D.B. Baker, the original, in there with the Queen Jack under the gun, playing 25-50. Blesnik still in the game. Alec Torelli alongside me here. Alec, how'd you enjoy your dinner? Or did you actually, were you here the entire time answering questions?
I didn't eat dinner. I just hung out with my the Twitch guys.
You are dedicated, I will tell you. As much as I love this, I needed a little bit of food. I needed some substance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a few power bars during the Twitch stream, so I was good to go.
Fair enough. There's a great bar here, actually. The Upstate Grill. I had myself some street tacos.
Awesome.
And a Guinness. So all's good.
You guys should meet up before you guys throw a million.
Canuli with the aces.
I think Canuli has an image that he's capable of 3-betting really bluffy here. Like, we haven't seen anything from him, but he just looks like he would be 3-betting a lot.
Yeah, Baker actually picks up some equity here. He's got a gut shot to the king high straight plus backdoor diamonds.
And
Not sure if he's going to check fold this.
If you're going to be calling out a position with this hand for a significant re-raise size against a good player like Canuli, you have to have a plan. And I think calling and check folding when you flop equity like this is
You're a cool kid.
it's just not strong enough of a play.
Don't let anyone tell you.
Baker check.
To do all
Canuli
the
bets
time.
900. BJ, if you found us through Twitch, welcome to the stream. Poker Night in America. We're back tomorrow, by the way. More 25-50 action. And Baker's going to check raise. That's his plan.
I don't hate it.
Kind of a small check raise, though.
exactly.
And then like you lose a few sick hands too.
Only 1,300 back to Canuli.
Yes. Figure though, realistically, you know, like.
Am I the only one who likes saying that guy's last name?
Once a decade, you get a chance to make a run.
Maybe.
10,000. Maybe.
But like, what do you consider? Do you consider like 90th place a run?
Not like top 50 probably.
Okay.
I mean,
I have a buddy who got 20-something a couple years ago, got 70-something this year, and he was like, I never thought I'd have
I would
a chance
imagine
like
the only play really here is to call.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not.
Absolutely. You got to let him continue on the bluff and find out more information. You got to make your hand look weak.
14 times they played the main night.
Absolutely.
Came in 12th, 39th, and like the 170th I don't think of as, you know, like
Deep,
playing
that's
deep,
fair.
right?
You make the last day type thing.
The 39,
That would
So I thought, I mean, obviously Canuli is one of the November 9,
they played down to 36.
but I thought for a second that he was actually the qualifier on 888 as well, but in fact he is not. So Dominic Christian, who is the 88 qualifier, maybe he'll come back later or tomorrow. We'll get more on that later on. But Canuli, so we have 2 November 9ers here.
Interesting they both decided to play on the show.
Yeah, it really is. And Baker's just going to continue firing. Baker fresh out of the gate, by the way, just joining the table.
He's repping a set here only. I mean, he
Yes.
never has
And,
ace
and by the way, only a set of 9s or a set of 5s, really.
Yeah. Yeah, without the 4-bet pre-flop. I mean, he could have kings.
He could.
He never has king 9. So, I mean, he's really repping
Is he
6
ever,
combos
What do you
here.
think, ace-king?
No.
Could he ever play ace-king this way?
No, not with this bet sizing on the turn, never. And Canuli has 2 aces, so that really only leaves
No, I mean,
a
let's
very
say
few combos of ace-king.
if you didn't know what he had.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're in Canuli's spot,
Yes.
knowing you have 2 aces makes it so much less likely your opponent has ace-king, especially with the king on the board. It's just like...
Right. I'm with you. And as played, I mean, you kind of look at it going, well, this guy's got either 9s or 5s probably, or nothing.
Right.
And
so
you can
that's
see
why
Baker.
you should call.
Baker needs a 10 and only a 10.
Yeah.
That's not a 10.
So now, well, he should be betting 9s and 5s here again. So he's still
Well, if he had a set of 9s or a set of 5s, he clearly is betting.
because the 8 doesn't help his opponent.
Problem is the pot is 12,000. How much does Baker have behind?
We played 3 times.
I mean, you're going to be giving your opponent, even if he moves all in, I don't know.
We played the 8 or better, and then we played declare.
The problem with this is that every hand Canuli calls a check raise with on the flop, he almost always calls the turn with if he has a made hand. So I don't know.
I really don't like the check back by. I mean, you like the check back by Canuli?
You had these?
Yeah, I don't think he ever gets value from. I guess the only hand he gets value from is ace king that played it weird, but
Where the rest of the pot.
But I mean, is
Canuli
Baker,
doesn't have enough bluffs in his range to justify value betting.
Okay.
Because Canuli, when he bets, he always has a hand.
But when Baker checks, does he ever have a hand?
Nice timing I have, yeah.
Does Baker ever beat aces when he checks the river?
He might check with a set. Some players make mistakes like that because, like,
Okay.
oh, there's 4 cards straight, I'm going to check.
I'm scared of the 8.
Yeah, they just check because the pot's big and I don't know. They don't know what to do. And
Right. Okay.
I don't think it's the right play, but
I got you. I'll buy that. So we're playing 25-50. You can straddle to 100. You can see Blesnik has done that. We'll go through the table real quick. So we got seat number 1. We still have that guy, Mike Siegel. Seat number 2, Drew McCauley. Seat 3 is now Rhett
Not the
Porter.
first time I've attempted to bluff on Poker Night in America.
Seat 4
I think it's the first time.
is David O.D.B. Baker. Jared Blesnik in seat 5. Samantha Abernathy, who we can seat in seat 6.
It's a good spot. He just happened to have that.
Canuli in seat number 7. Joe McKeon, who we're looking at right here in seat 8.
Doesn't matter. I never
And in seat number 9, Mike Dentale. Dentale, by the way, our big winner today so far with, he's up about 15,000. This is a straddled pot.
hard for me to represent the 8. If I could have, if I thought I could
Abernathy
represent
opens
the
to 350.
8, didn't feel like I could.
I bumped into Steve Ruddock, by the way, during the break, and he said that, after the ace's hand, after the king's hand, wasn't feeling himself, didn't like the way he played the ace-king hand. That's one of the reasons why he got up.
It's very true.
Just didn't feel like he was playing his A game.
I told everybody.
Got to respect that. An interesting flop, to say the least. Ace-high flop, 2 spades out there, so we've got a gut shot with Porter. Blesnik with the flush draw, and Abernathy with 2 pair, top 2. She was the pre-flop raiser.
This is why I bought him for 20.
300.
We went from green chips to black chips.
Okay.
Not bad.
All right,
up.
fair.
Yeah, I can.
No, that's
not a
bad
bad
shape. But it's as good a shape as you can be in.
You're supposed to have ace 10 when you say that.
So we got an all in the call. It's ace jack versus queen five of spades. Blesnik looking for running cards or spade.
No, I said this is like today.
Ace of spades obviously in Abernathy's hand.
Okay, we're ready.
And Blesnik now drawing dead.
Spade.
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 Spade. Yeah!
Can we see what the other two would have been? If we
Yeah, can we just see this?
just
All right,
for
let's go. Give it a pop.
curious.
Count it out. What do you got?
Yeah.
Here's the
Double up for Abernathy. They're going to count that one out.
Good hand, Dave.
8.
Oh, and I lied. Sorry. There we go.
Take it all.
Nice hand, nice hand.
So set.
I'm going to see what the second round is. Turn his turn on.
Yeah, Gary, you're still 10.
Oh, it doesn't
You
matter.
put it on the table.
What?
You're still 10 or you put it on the table?
There's a spade on there, isn't
Yeah,
there?
there's one of those is a spade. I think it would have been the second
No,
card.
I win the second
no,
one.
the 9 of spades came on the
Let's do a
river.
round of straddles. Who's in
Came
for
nine of
round?
clubs, the second burn,
No,
six of
Siegel,
spades.
no.
Do a round of straddles?
No.
Six of clubs.
Jared,
Do you have money
you
on
like
you?
that?
You don't. I don't think Jared's the one you have to convince to straddle. I'm pretty sure that he is in.
Is that a straddle thing or
I
is that a
just
loose
straddled.
Okay.
All right.
On.
I get slept on. Let's go. Figure that out. I called Matt Glan's supposed to, so he straddled. And then I won the final. I got dealt aces and I played them great. So I won a final pin, actually.
Tom Canuli in the gray shirt. Abernathy straddles with sevens.
This replacement card was much better. Take your new chips out for a little twirl here.
Woo! Woo!
Get a lot of calls here, not surprising with Siegel in there. Siegel starts it, McCallie calls behind, Rhett Porter raising. So while the faces have changed,
Just give it
same
up.
thing though, as we got a couple of limpers and then a raise. Well, if you're not going to flop a set with sevens, it's not a bad way to go. On a rainbow board, she's open-ended. And she is going to lead out.
1,000.
I feel like I'm not going to win this one.
We tried. Don't
So,
try.
Mike, do you see what Rep did?
Try very hard.
He realized he was folding, and he folded fast. You can learn something.
Did I do a little longer than I expected?
Well, like when Rep knows like he's folding, like when you know you're folding within like 2 seconds of the action, and you.
Ace of spades in the turn.
That's like
Are
a
you one of those
50
guys?
He is.
It's exaggerated.
I hate that guy.
Not an.
Siegel called that flop
No,
bet.
ace
Pot is
that
now
guy.
36.75.
The poker at an unbelievable rate. The, like,
I think she could actually use that
pretend
ace.
like I have something here. So
While it doesn't make a ton of sense, I just don't think Siegel's got the ace in his hand very
Like
often.
10 seconds, whatever. Take 2 minutes.
Right.
I mean, I can understand
And he
why
called her
people
flop
prefer
bet. An ace is a card that could easily scare him as well.
For sure.
They want to save face, they argue. Like, they
And obviously her hand still has a ton of equity.
That being said, you kind of have to plan to go to the river with this because so much of the time he's going to call the turn again with like a pair and a gutter type of thing. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to go to the river with this plan. Wow.
Very small.
And Siegel just moved all in for 37.25. This doesn't make a ton of sense.
Not allowed to do that on TV.
But the question is,
Nobody wants to see your small.
how often is Siegel bluffing here?
Right.
He's got absolute air.
It's really hard to be. This
what
is
is
like
he
the
repping?
absolute worst hand that he has.
What's he repping?
Two pair, a set.
yeah, but he called the flop. So like ace six, you mean?
Yeah, something like that. Ace 6, Ace 8 suited. There's only 2 combos of that, but maybe even a set that's slow played. He's definitely not repping a lot.
You made that tweet that you're going to wear diapers.
Oh,
Where is that happening?
that is true.
Yeah. I wanted to bring that up with Glenn because they all know about it.
I gotta wear them. Listen,
Yeah.
I gotta wear them.
Do you
I
want to
gotta
play
wear
another
them. I
time
gotta
on
wear them.
TV? Or?
I gotta do what I gotta do.
Button
I
is
just
in
want
the
you to know
correct
I don't want to
location.
be there.
I I get a pair of
Call the
Depends.
1,000 on the 8, 6,
I won't
5
wear
flop
them.
in between with the
I
jack.
have a man in my word.
Trust me, it's not me.
Canuli, by the way, 23 years old,
What was the exact
going into the final table, the November 9, sixth in chips with 12.2
You
million.
guys hear about the quote I made? If Joe makes the final
This
table,
isn't
I
like
wear
day 3 of the
diapers at the
tournament.
final table.
Before the November 9, by the way,
Incredible.
his total lifetime earnings, tournament-wise,
Yeah.
$52,000.
Pretty sure I played with Canuli before in a cash game. I think I played.
He's a cash game pro out of New Jersey. Just crazy when you think about those numbers, though.
Absolutely.
Figure that out all by yourself. Nobody
Shows how much variance there is.
I'm telling you, did your mom put you in a helmet on the bus when you went to school? She put you, strapped you in a helmet? I think you wore a helmet. Or you didn't wear a helmet. That might be the problem. Joe raised?
Joe raised.
The game
Normally
got
I'd be
tougher.
intimidated if someone
when
said,
you
"Oh,
lost-
Joe
when you
raised,"
lost
and then called,
Deeb
but it's you,
and-
Fishkill.
And Glance.
Oh, yeah.
Siegel just calls the raise.
Yeah, that's,
I have to carry the needles for the entirety
yeah,
of the
let
show
Matt
now.
bluff you know. Let Matt bluff you. I raised
Don't worry.
150 under the gun.
Give us a few minutes.
We made it 500.
I promise I'm not like this in person anymore.
I learned from Glance myself.
Heads up here, McKeon out of position. Flops a pair with a
I'm
gut
just trying to get
shot.
over the sting of
Unfortunately
the
for him,
6,000
Siegel's got
I
top
gave
two.
away to the millionaire
So I
on my
leave
left.
out. How much is that?
550.
He's got to pay taxes. He's not really going to be a millionaire unless he comes in 6th.
Taxes, yeah. Taxes ain't fun.
But regardless of how we finish.
This is the thing. Last hand, going back to that last hand where he had Jack 9. I feel like he raises on the flop with any mate hand. Like I feel like he's
Siegel
only,
might.
yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like he's only repping when
That
he raises.
particular player.
When he bets that big on the turn, I feel like he's literally only repping ace 8, ace 6.
Yeah.
It's like just
It's a weird, yeah, for sure.
Really
You're
weird
right
play.
about him because the way he's been playing, he's so likely to have raised there and just called with his weak hands and raised with his strong hands. That's a great observation based on his history. And so, you know, when he raises the turn there, he might have something like, you know, 6 with the spades, like 6-9 of spades or something like that. But that being said, with 7s, it's still a tough call. I would have had to look more at the price she was getting and the odds. But yeah.
No, in general, you weren't going to get any more unless I hit, so it's going to be bad for you, yeah.
No, I'm not sure she should call anyway. I was just kind of like,
still
just reading the hand. It was
doesn't
so weird
make
hands.
a lot of sense.
Right.
Exactly.
Live straddle.
Matt Glantz, Steve Rodick, and Sean Deeb all got up from the table after dinner, before dinner, I should say. Replaced by Rhett Porter, who's drinking his white wine right now. David Baker on his
How
left.
many cards are you getting?
And then, of course, the November 9er, Tom Canuli.
You can actually get
Pretty amazing that we have 2 November 9ers here.
I know. That's incredible. They both agreed to play too.
Must have a really good hand. It's not 500 this time. Like Jack 10 this time instead of Jack 9, Jared?
Blesnick's going to raise here. He's going to try to pick up dead money.
We need a Jack.
And I think, did Abernathy 3-bet?
Times with Jack 9.
Can't imagine she just called, did she?
Well,
That's all you
I think Blesnick just opened.
Well, it was a straddle pot and then a couple of calls.
Yeah, and then Blesnick just opened, and Abernathy just called 700.
I'd love, I mean, if she were to 3-bet that, it'd be so strong.
It would be so strong because she's
You gotta-
been so loose pre-flop just calling that a 3-bet would signify strength. It's the same with Siegel. Siegel calls so much that a 3-bet means so much more, but sometimes you got to get out of your own image to figure that out.
I mean, it's funny when you get a couple of limpers and Blesnick opens that large in the button.
If you're a tight player, you should just be 3-betting there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll put it this way. I don't mind if she folds 8-9. I don't mind if she 3-bets 8-9. The
Yeah.
only thing I don't like is calling.
I know, especially 8-9 off, out of position. It's
Yeah,
like-
I mean, what's she going to do? How many flops is she going to like?
I know. It's really questionable fundamentals.
Yeah, he was just clicking. He was clicking a lot, yeah.
Alec Torelli alongside me. If you want to follow him, he's a good follow on Twitter, at Alec Torelli.
Yeah.
You can also subscribe and watch his YouTube videos. He does some hand reviews on YouTube. You can follow me at Twitter at Tuck on Sports. If you have any questions, I'm usually pretty active on Twitter.
Tad Power.
Yeah, in Maryland.
I never heard of him.
He played good in poker. I was telling I had a buddy deep in the main too. He had like 20 something.
And if you walk by me in Turning Stone Resort and Casino, I did not just pee in my pants.
Real nice
I just spilled water all over myself, though.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, exactly.
can you be a mean guy with a guy with a name like Chad
She's sitting
Power?
on me.
Thanks, Jimmy.
I had 8, 9 offs.
Jack, you wouldn't want to hand anyway. I would have made it 3,500. You would have folded to me.
Were you?
I was making it 3,500.
Welcome to the game.
If you folded,
You sit there and play aces and
you're
good
getting
hands.
cheated and
What was that? Was that like a full house?
You know my
Nothing.
How do you know?
You haven't done it
How
yet.
do you know that these guys is
I know your tournament style. At least, I don't know your tournament style.
I still have chips. How could I not be cheating?
So straddle continues here. We're looking at Joe McKeon. Guy in red is Dentali.
Must be insane not to.
He and Blesnik have been going at it all day long. It's been an interesting show. Certainly entertaining, that's to say the least. So what was the most interesting question you got during the break?
There were some good ones. Credit to the viewers. I think they asked some great questions, especially about some of the mindset things that it takes to excel in poker. I think that was really interesting.
Baker raising the 400, the 8-6. He's going to take that one down. How have you been able to, has it been a challenge for you to balance your life as a poker player and being married?
That's a great question. I've been really lucky. My wife is extremely supportive. She travels with me full time, and we really do make the most out of traveling to play poker. Like when we go to Macau, for example, we got married in Bali, but then we'll go to Thailand for a week in between vacations, or every time we're flying between one continent and another, we'll stop on the way and take flights with layovers and make a vacation out of all the poker tournaments. For example, we're going to Florida next week, but then we'll also stop in West Palm, which is a place we really
Go for
like.
that 200. Yeah, I got
So it's really, really cool. We're able to create a cool lifestyle around playing poker, and
I'm using November 9 money.
I've been really lucky to have a supportive wife when it comes down to it.
Someone offered me to
She's
play
great.
and take 80%.
Does she play?
No, not at all. But she knows more about
Rather get my
being a professional than a lot of other people would. Just
no limit poker.
being there on the inside, she helps with so many strategic decisions, not necessarily at the table, but away from the table, and just been a huch support. Which
You should have it.
It's important, obviously.
yeah.
Get a raise here from Blesnik with the ace-5. Dentali calling with the king-queen suited. Neither player flopped much of anything, and you imagine that's going to favor Blesnik. He checks it back.
You know, whatever they gave you, 10 or 12, whatever it is, and the guy's under the gun in the tank. I said, I can't take them. I left my chips and walked out at $1,000. I said, I can't do this anymore. I swear to God. I left my chips and left. I said, this is
What about you? I know you mentioned having a 2-year-old. How has that changed playing poker and for you? And just does it make the game harder, easier, better, more fun?
It was a transition. Just understanding how much sleep you need and how to get it and how to figure out, make sure that you're at your best and you can play your optimal game. There was definitely a couple of months there where it was a learning process, but in many ways it's really helped me. I was talking to Sean Deeb about this. He is a 15-month-old boy,
Right.
and my son just turned 2 in June. It definitely puts things in perspective. Getting a bad beat at the poker table, I get over that in seconds now.
Wow.
I go home and I go home and I open the door and my son sees me and goes, "Daddy," and runs and gives me a hug. It's like whatever. It's
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
great.
It's gone. Whatever happened at the poker table is gone, which is nice. But at the same time, obviously, as a poker player, you've got to be more responsible because you're now, you're playing for somebody.
Yeah.
And
More responsibility.
yeah, exactly. So there's a balance there. But I will say, when he was born, and anybody who has anybody who has children can obviously attest to this. Your sleep patterns are going to be adjusted.
Yeah.
And if you're one of those people that really needs 8 hours sleep, that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that was an adjustment for me. Siegel, re-raising this from Porter.
Wow, that's not something you see often from Siegel pre-flop, and I don't know if Porter knows this about how Siegel plays.
Well, you wonder if Siegel also went on dinner break and spoke to some friends and
Saw
realized
some
that,
of the hands.
yeah, and realized that maybe I can step up my aggression a little bit because we've seen him do it with Jack 9 here with Ace Queen. While it's still a
It
premium
sounds
hand,
like Yeah, the Jack-9 is indicative of him deciding to make some adjustments. Good observation.
6 is still good, but if Siegel puts out a big bet,
Oh,
well,
no.
Siegel could so easily rep, and he checks so quick.
He makes it so easy here that he just missed the flop and allows Porter to just bet a third of the pot or whatever he's going to bet. If you're going to put the money in, especially in this spot, it's so much better to bet than check call.
Well, the thing with Siegel is, I mean, it's just, I just feel like when he plays the hand this way, his hand is face up, because he's going to check the turn, too, pretty quickly, probably. My guess would be.
The timing is a little... Yeah, a
The
little
king is
too
definitely a card he
revealing.
can rep, though. He can
The
rep ace
problem
king.
is that now he has to kind of rep it on the river, unless he's going to bet it on the turn into him, which if he does, it's actually a great bluff. That's great bluff here. Because his hand looks like ace-king, how he played it.
Does.
Credit to Siegel here for
Having a
taking
plan.
advantage of this card. Well, I mean, there weren't many cards he could execute his plan on, but at least he executed it on the card that is there. And credit to him, it's a great
I wonder if he
bet.
does that with a heart.
Maybe. Great bet.
I mean,
I'm impressed.
went from 12 to 60 though.
It's a queen of hearts. We're on television. The guy's looking at my
Good
He
job.
picks it up.
I'd fold sixes there. I mean, I thought he had ace-king. He looks like he has ace-king. Good job.
I know what he has for.
But I've always been, you know, more of a night person.
Okay.
And I will say, it was when my son was born and I came back from the World Series of Poker, and like, you know, I was like, okay, I got to get back to work and start playing poker again. You know, obviously he's waking up every couple of hours, and I
Right.
wanted to help out my wife, and it was tough because, you know, I'd go to work and I was just exhausted. And I would say the first couple of months it definitely was affecting my game. So it's just
Absolutely.
something.
I can imagine.
I think you can't beat yourself up about it. You can't beat yourself up, and you've got to kind of accept it and move on from there.
Right.
Tom Canuli obviously bought in for $20,000, and it's already up a quick $8,000.
I'm not lying. I would never lie to you. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
I could see that being an adjustment.
Finals, like say, check raising all in on the turn, they call you if it came all
No. I couldn't do that because if you bet, I'm folding. So I just said I just gotta put 2,500. If you bet, I would have. You really had
It's funny, I talked to a lot of poker players about that. Jeremy Osmus,
when you're on television.
Ray Henson,
find out 30 minutes
David
later.
Baker is another one where a lot of poker players, you know, who have, you know, children. Scott Clements is another one who's a great poker player who has children. And we've kind of talked about it.
I had ace queen of hearts.
I thought he had ace of diamonds too.
I completely believe in
Deeb as well.
I thought he had ace of diamonds.
I had ace queen of hearts.
it. Felt like ace queen.
That was my hand. You was,
Felt like ace queen
the
when he bet
feed
25,
comes up.
right?
Right. Doesn't the feed come up?
4 kids, right?
Yes.
Richie Ewens wanted to know how much that Blesnik is in for.
Sean,
He is in for
Sean.
$20,000.
Are you there, Sean?
2 bullets at 10K for Blessing.
Foxtrot one.
Abernathy raises to 550. Blesnik calls.
550. Come on, guys. This is too expensive. Come on.
Siegel folds.
You would play
McKeon calls at the suited connector.
left.
It's a spot where we talked about the value of small pocket pairs earlier. I just think deuces here is not a great spot to play for at a 25-50 game for a huge raise, even though there's a straddle. It's just, if you're not deep enough here to call, it's tough to win a lot of money.
Queen 8-3, 2 clubs out there. Abernathy flops the best of it. Porter, though, with the flush draw. Yeah, so many things have to go right for you to win a big pot. Not only do you have to flop a set, but somebody else has to flop something. And
That's not a set. That's not a set.
Right, and think their hand is strong enough to kind of lose a lot of money with it.
Yeah, and the problem with deuces particularly is there's not that many draws. It eliminates the draw possibilities that people could have. Whereas if you have sevens, there's so many more straight draws that they could have.
Right.
That they could put it in with a worse hand against you. But with deuces particularly,
Right, think of the flop combinations when the deuce is out there.
yeah, it has to be like specifically like queen 8 deuce, and then someone has to have ace queen or something. It's just
Or somebody just can't get away from an overpair.
yeah.
Yeah, we had all rhetoric and no poker, all nonsense.
Well, Abernathy has bet 800, Porter raising to 3,000. Back over to Abernathy. When Rep Porter raises here, since there aren't many two-pair combos,
Right.
is he basically telling the story, I have a set of threes, a set of eights,
I raised your
or a flush draw?
off because I knew that you were going to play tight.
The real question is, does he raise this with ace queen?
I mean, if he does, it makes it really, really hard for Abernathy.
Right, exactly. And so if ace queen's in his range, which it should be, suddenly Abernathy, it's tough to call with the queen. And even if ace queen's not, I mean, even if he has an overcard and a flush draw, you're not loving your hand. I mean, he still has 44% equity.
Right, if this is the worst hand he has in his range.
You got to fold queen 10. I mean, you know.
The other one's a club.
Right, if he's
ace
got
queen, you could call because maybe he has king queen and he doesn't know what to do and he wants to protect his hand.
right.
And you beat something, but with queen 10, you only beat massive combo draws.
Porter looking for a club
Bring the 3 of clubs.
or a king,
Oh, wait. Oh, boy.
and there's a king.
There it is.
I think they're going to run it twice. The turn of the
She's
river.
been doing that, so
Okay.
she's
So
got
we
the
gotta
best of
run
it with
it
that
again.
10-6 against kings.
Standard rep, gets lucky on the first one versus Sam. Gets it in awful.
Still looking for a king or a club.
queen or an 8,
No club has come out yet, so a lot of them left.
6 are hard.
You like my logic?
Absolutely.
You're 1 and 4 though.
I mean, that's
Nope, doesn't hit though. They're going to chop that one out.
total math there. You're right.
By the way, I want to throw this at you and our audience, and I'm curious what people think. Let us know. You can let me know by tweeting me at Tuck on Sports. You can also let me know via Twitch. I saw something Barry Greenstein had written about this and talked about
Glad
it,
Sam
and I've
didn't
kind of
break that. Would've made me the cutest
I've adopted it
person.
myself.
I don't like the
I don't run it more than once. Reason being
Why?
is
Yeah, okay.
the reason being is just twofold. Number one, I play within my bankroll.
Yep.
And I think fear is part of the game, and I think it's something you can use. And I want to play against somebody who's. I want when somebody puts their money in, I want to know you're playing for your whole stack.
Absolutely.
I feel like it makes people less likely to make moves on me, and I feel like it might make people less likely to call in certain situations as well.
I think it makes your table image more dominant too, which makes you have a subconscious just psychological advantage over your opponents. I know Phil Ivey only wins it once, and that's just like so intimidating, and it adds to
It's
his
amazing how much better money.
intimidation, demeanor, and people are always cognizant of that at the table. And I think that's if you do, you should be playing with your within your bankroll, and especially if you're overrolled for a game. I think that's really subconscious, smart, dominant strategy, and I'm all for it. Great job.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just don't. I mean, I don't really want. I mean. If Rep Porter knows, and I know the odds don't change, but psychologically it does. If Rep Porter knows, like, okay, well, I can run it twice. Let's say I get her to fold 30% of the time, and the 70% of the time that she calls, yeah, I'm behind, but I still have tons of equity. We'll run it twice. I'll probably win once and move on. If it just makes somebody a little bit
more likely to gamble,
then
exactly, especially in a spot like where Ruddock was in, where if Sean Deeb's like, I'm only running it, if Ruddock knows Deeb's only running it once there when he has 2 kings, he might not want to gamble there because he's playing out of his bankroll. He's a little bit intimidated, and it's going to be so much harder to put in a huge amount of money. You could lead players to make mistakes. I totally agree with yourself and Greenstein. That's great logic. I'd like to hear what the players on Twitch think.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like I said, I mean, I don't hate on people for wanting to run it more than once, and I understand. It doesn't change anything, but it's just the game is.
If you could put yourself in a spot where you can afford to run it once, or that's part of your structure, your bankroll, that's just finding another way to get an edge. I like that.
7 to 5. 7 to 5, I think, maybe. I don't know. It's different. Some players have like
Samantha Abernathy on the left side of the screen. Blesnick on the far left, and of course we're looking at November 9er, Tom Canuli. There's the other one, the chip leader, heading into the November 9.
Like 16 to 1 and then went to
Blesnick in the straddle with the ace king.
I'm talking you up.
I think it's just the stack side. I don't think you have it.
Yeah, obviously that's part of it.
So Abernathy
I think they
called
go just by
or raised?
No, it's on her. She raised. Now Blesnick is in the straddle.
No, I know. So did Abernathy originally raise? Or it still
Yeah,
says two call?
absolutely. You could see
It
her
did?
chips
Okay,
there.
thank you.
Yeah, it should be 350.
So she opened in first.
Under the gun.
She opened under the gun in the
So I think
straddle.
Blesnick's going to be more likely to flat call here because even though he has a really strong hand,
Are you still 10,000 behind? You said
Against her under the gun raising
yeah,
range.
he might not, like we said, she hasn't shown a lot of aggression. She's passive.
Yeah.
So he also doesn't know that she's been really loose pre-flop, so he might just call here. That being said, he might know she's going to call a re-raise, so he might re-raise. I don't know.
You should have gotten you guys, not the needle. A long time ago.
So Blesnik raised to 2,000, and Abernathy just called?
Wow.
They're not afraid to get needle now because they know they're
She's way too loose pre-flop, but I think he re-raised because Siegel was in the pot.
You mean with Matt, Sean?
He was probably trying to get a heads up against Siegel.
They controlled all the needling?
I really wanted to see what would have happened if the flop came out like 9 high. I mean, obviously this board is going to play itself.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know what would happen if
We got to needle just a little bit.
if the flop came out 9
We're
high.
at the point where everyone's getting stuck, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would have seen it. I would call for one, and then I would have given up.
He's got to call here.
Well, obviously.
Say no.
I mean, I'm very worried about a set of 10s, but
Yeah, she's won the second one.
I mean, if she's
You're
got a
not-
set of 10s, she's got a set of 10s.
You're not loving it, absolutely, but
Right,
I'm just saying.
When she raises under the gun and then calls my 2,000,
Wow.
and then
I mean, the pot's so big that you're where you are. But you're not loving it.
well, she hits a pair of 4s here. She gets a 4, a 3, or a diamond.
Wow. Are they doing it twice?
I'm not sure.
5 more outs. You're almost there.
Wow.
She hits it.
There it is.
Jared, you made a straight.
She hits it when Blesnik hits Broadway.
Sam, you can take back that. You're in no risk of losing it.
I knew. I could tell it was coming.
This is called a free roll.
And now you got to
Oh, now she has a gut shot.
Yep, a deuce or a diamond.
If she gets it twice, Blesnik's pretty steamed here.
Make a wheel.
Wow.
Oh! Ho, ho. Count him out.
Now we actually feel bad for there.
By the way, and the fact that she didn't lose both to Rhett Porter, she's got some money in front of her. This is a big pot, $18,000.
Yeah, I think that Blesnik's going to be a little steamed here. He's been losing a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how he recovers from this after losing before the break and then taking two bad beats in a row.
By the way,
71-25.
I'm not commenting on it. I'm just going to put it out there for everybody to chew on.
What was that, Mikey?
She put
I thought it was 71-25.
somewhere in the neighborhood of like 27% of her stack pre-flop
Yeah.
with 4-3 diamond heads up.
With someone behind her.
Was that his
Right.
quarter?
Yeah, it's a little ambitious. Ambitious has been a good word for her pre-flop strategy throughout the day.
Hey,
66 and a quarter.
Got 7,000.
I just
yeah, she's all in for 68.75, so she put 2,000 of the 68 in there.
and she basically shoved the flop with a bare flush draw with pretty much no fold equity. I mean,
Well, I mean,
he
once-
3-bet pre-flop and bet 2,500. It's never really a bluff there.
No,
It's
no,
hard
no.
for him to be. If he was bluffing, it would be a smaller bet sizing, I think.
What's he bluffing with there?
Exactly. I mean, if he was bluffing, he might even just check fold the flop. That's a really connected board.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do
I think that it was an ambitious shove. Blesnik is rebuying for 5K, in for 23,000 total now.
Yeah,
But I
actually,
think he only has 8,000, I think, so he's down 13,000 now, which puts him at the biggest loser of the day,
I'm not gonna lie. I hope I
I
knock him
believe.
Everyone knock everybody.
Porter, I believe, in for 10K
Why first?
originally,
I'm making a point.
and Baker, I believe, in also for 10K, I want to say.
Right.
I'm coming.
So a lot of money on the table now.
But once
So
growing,
we'll see how this plays out. I'm really interested to see how Abernathy plays now that she's got
gonna grow.
How is your stack
that much money in front of her.
And she won. She might be less steaming. Is she going to continue
I'm gonna let you in
with
on
the
that.
strategy
Is she steaming,
post-flop?
or is that just? I mean, that's just her strategy.
How it's gonna happen.
Maybe it just is. I mean, in the beginning, she played really tight post-flop the first 2 hours. And then she just opened up. I don't know what happened.
She's feeling it, man.
I would have really liked to see
She's got
Ruddock.
some mojo going on.
I would have liked to see Ruddock continue in the game and see how he adjusted after that those kings hand.
Run better? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why do you think you run better?
But we saw how he adjusted with the ace king. 2
Right.
hands later.
But after the dinner break, it would have been interesting to see what happened
I got
to
all in with ace nine.
Blesnik and Ruddock. Blesnik's now with this second loss. It's tough.
Appreciate the chatters in Twitter Nation here. I see that Rust Vincent, Spearmint 55, Prankster, Hero Call with 6 high, Darnalish, all in there. Jimmy Bluffett. By the way, I kind of like that. I like Jimmy Bluffett. Well
Jimmy
done.
Bluffett's cool.
Well done, sir.
Jack comes in. You know, if I'm raising under the gun.
Some creative screen names, no question.
And I had 7,000.
That's it.
If I could go back to like 2004 and
Oh,
create
yeah.
an online name, I think
Party
Jimmy,
poker names.
Jimmy Bluffett would have been it.
Yeah.
Darn.
I don't have it.
What'd you get second in rep?
Jimmy Bluffett like 14.
Yeah, with the number, for
Yeah,
sure.
oh, obviously. Even if there's no number 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
He's back-to-back.
From Seattle.
Canuli with the straddle.
The kid won back-to-back in the deuce.
Yeah,
That
Twan
last time you tried to
Twan won back-to-back with the deuce. I came at 6th.
It didn't work.
I don't know. I had pretty
It
good
wasn't
The
always
one
me
hand,
either.
the one hand I
Nothing
do
to
still
complain
think
about.
about.
Now you got a
lot.
good stop.
What was your second?
I opened that, like, I think it was a hijack.
dealer.
or cut off.
I don't have it.
I know. I think.
Obviously, but
But
it's irrelevant.
that's
Yeah,
not
it's
playing
irrelevant.
well.
And Tali raising with 300 of King 6.
300 an hour to play.
In order to make
You heard that, Brian? 300 an hour.
And the hand's such a weird.
We both know
He's
it.
moving to
both
Philly,
know
so
it.
you'll have your shot.
Yeah, I know.
I should just fold
I often
And I
try.
bet you don't even have to pay him 300 an hour.
I don't have to.
You're
Well,
gonna
the
do it.
last time we
I'm just going to go out on the limb.
Didn't Tali and Blesnik going at Blesnik and
Last time I played
One
with
time you
him,
opened earlier.
2 studs at no limit in Florida. He lost 63,277 sessions.
I can't not.
Common thing you'll see, I think, when people lose a big hand is that they start to play really ABC and they start to act quicker too. And I encourage people to not do that when, especially when you lose a big hand. It's more time. It's even more prudent to
Can I get on that
take
text
more
list,
time with your
please?
decisions, because when you start to act quickly, you reinforce the fact that you're losing, and you stop the process of making effective decisions.
Sean,
You start to play a little more robotic and automatic, and that ends up really hurting your ability to recover. And this is the most important time, right after that beat, right after that loss, right after that mistake, to change the pattern.
By the way, Dominic Christian, the 888 qualifier, will be joining us tomorrow. Other players that will be joining us tomorrow
I like to play.
Sean Deeb.
are you?
Maybe.
Maybe. Bart Hansen, Sean Deeb is back.
Sean Deeb was the best.
Lance is back. Samantha Abernathy back.
That's close by.
And Richard Anthony will be joining us.
You didn't need. I mean,
Apparently you're an alternate.
I am. I joined a little late, and I don't know. I might make it on.
I'm in.
If they have me, I'll play.
After watching this,
Made in my poker career.
does it make you
Like I said, how do you
want to
say
play
how-
more or less?
Dave, what do you think about Paul Volpe?
I mean, I always love playing poker, so it's always like a little bit like a teaser kind of watching, you know, and always makes you want to play. I definitely want to play. I'd feel like I'd have a little bit of an advantage knowing how everybody plays too. That would be kind of fun to play against them. And it's always fun to play poker on under the lights. I mean, it's awesome. So
Take a dookie home, you guys.
definitely would love to get a chance to play tomorrow, and maybe I'll do a little bit of both.
I'm sure somebody else.
Yeah,
I think you're first alternate, by the way.
I feel like there's been enough action that someone's going to win or quit.
But we got a raise, and then 3 calls, and then McKeon going to try to seize on this weakness, pick up the dead money.
So you made it 1650 after these two guys?
The old grab a lot of chips, fake like you're going to go
Yeah.
all in, and then fold. That
Always
never
weakness.
gets old.
Right.
Never gets old.
I put him in parks. Cash when I first met him. In cash.
I feel like
What about me? I already said I'm
I feel like I should jam.
I really would. He looked at the other one. He knows this.
You should never show a bluff here.
I didn't say I was taking the dookie on you.
I don't think you should be showing.
I had to protect my straddle, man.
He's been really tight, and I think it's good to play off that tight image.
How he got me in
McKean,
the mood.
McKean's mixed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Here.
Although
Remember he
nobody
three-bet
really
earlier
knows
on
that.
10 deuce?
Yeah, but nobody knows that.
They could.
Yeah, it's true at this point.
Yeah, we're on a stream. We're on a delay.
And I'm wondering if this is how a lot of people touched on whether or not, you know, they were kind of surprised he was playing on the live stream. And I'm wondering if this is part of the plan, where he knows everybody's watching, he's 3-betting with something like Queen 3, if that's something he typically does in tournaments, or if he's taking advantage of just the situation in itself, and he's aware that people are going to be watching that.
To your point, though,
I'm not getting it.
this game here today,
Yeah.
such a different dynamic than the November 9.
It almost doesn't apply.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that earlier, and the more I think about it, the more I agree.
It almost
He
doesn't
goes
even
into
matter.
November 9 where they're playing for millions on the biggest stage in the world.
Right.
and he is the overwhelming chip leader.
It's just a totally different game. There's antes. It's a different format of poker.
Are
It
you
almost,
talking about how he made the worst
unless you could extrapolate something about how he thinks about the game in general, which I think is hard to do in this situation. It almost,
Well, it's very
it's just
easy.
so
Except the
different.
fact that he does clearly he does think.
Yeah, but I mean,
Don't worry.
he's a young rock star. It's obviously, for sure.
No,
Him-
I'm just
also
saying
Canuli
he's
as well.
clearly not like just clipping buttons.
Right.
He thinks about the
But
game.
people that are good enough to watch this and infer anything already know that. They're already, and same with Canuli. I think it's just
He's on lockdown.
it's too different of a
Remember, he's
stage.
on
You're an
lockdown,
open book,
so-
Mike.
I'll take a small pop.
By the way, for the record,
I needed about
I like the shave head, McKeon.
Oh yeah,
So I think it's a big improvement.
No, I said I'll take a small pop.
Mercer mustard.
and it's almost like mandatory that you go from in the 4 months, like people are expecting like something different to happen. I think it's cool to come up with a different look almost because it's almost like, what did you do in the 4 months? Well, I did this.
What would
this,
you do?
this. Oh, I would study
No, what would you do
mindset
physically?
and mental
No, physically.
meditation every day. Oh,
What would you do
physically?
Close in this. I mean, Mercer mustard.
Get in the best shape of my life.
Would you
Do
get
my best
implants?
No.
Calf? How about calf implants? I might get calf implants.
Maybe.
Yeah. Between July 17th and then November 9.
Yeah, you got to find a way to like do a
Well, you got to do something.
handstand cheer to show everybody.
Yeah, I gotta do something.
Otherwise, they're never going to be shown under the table.
Dude, I'll wear shorts.
Well, you did
There you go.
The 10 made it better on the
Get a
back.
tattoo, an ear piercing, could be visible. Head shave is a great one, though. I mean, what? That's awesome.
I'm just thinking of other things.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he's already done the head shave. So.
Yeah, you can't be the second one to head shave because then it's not as cool.
I'm broke and I have no credit.
Eyebrow ring.
Yeah, you can let the hair grow.
There were 2 diamonds left in the deck for her. That's why.
Don't get a haircut from July to then.
Yeah,
I would have a big fro.
I don't think I have enough hair.
I don't know you, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan already.
You gonna straddle?
Hitting on me all day.
Probably, yeah.
Just straddle?
She's been hitting on me the whole
I wonder why.
No.
Look at Jacobson. I mean, just
She's been hitting on me. He means
the way he spent his time in between
He means
in between the 4 months just
by hitting on
shows the value of hard work. And
Well, I mean, I talked to
paid
20.
off for him.
I
Good for him.
just, I'll pimp out my podcast one more time.
Do it.
The Under the Gun podcast over at crushlivepoker.com. It's free. And I just interviewed Jesse Sylvia, the runner-up in the 2012 main event.
Oh, yeah.
And we spent 20 minutes talking about his coaching with Vanessa Silks.
Yeah.
And what they did and what they went over. It was really interesting. Actually, we had a great chat. He's a really good guy, and he gave away a lot. But it was very, very interesting how he got the coaching from Vanessa and then what they did.
Yeah, and I think it's almost, there's so much on the line, it's almost crazy not to invest a lot of your time and energy either into strategy coaching, mindset coaching, physical coaching, getting in stamina to make effective decisions and be mentally sharp, physically sharp. I mean, just
Would you
everything.
play a lot or no?
Absolutely. I would play a lot and I would study a lot. I mean, I would make my life about poker for those 4 months, and I would have, I would work on strategy as much as I would work on, my mindset and just being mentally dominant over the table. I think that's just so important.
I'm not sure what everybody ate, but the aggression post-dinner has ramped up.
No, there's new players at the table, and maybe they watched or got updates.
Yeah. I mean, we saw the squeeze from McKeon. We just saw a 3-bet from Canuli. Baker tried to bluff. We saw Siegel bluff with Jack 9.
She's touching my leg. You keep touching.
Yeah.
Touching my leg. She's probably gonna
Yep,
get
from
the
everybody.
shower when she's done. Trust me. She touches like.
I accidentally, yes.
See? She
I
keeps
went
trying
like
to
this
grope him. I keep seeing
She
you.
said accidentally.
The thing I think is really interesting is McKeon
Wait, did
and
Samantha-
Canuli playing with each other.
Right. Did
Because
Samantha
that-
just touch somebody's leg? Is
What are you doing?
that what's going on here?
Sorry, touch me over here.
No, they're actively playing with each other, yeah. Even then, though, to your point, this is a cash game.
Right.
Totally different dynamic. There's no antes. There's no page
But
ups. There's
just
no
getting
ICM.
physical reads on the people and just understanding how that person plays and thinks. It helps both of the opponents equally against the other one, but it's just going to be interesting.
By the way, you have to tell every time you look at my cards. When I don't have it, you sling it back.
I get a free roll for. I was really hoping something that leave. Yeah, we can talk about the free roll.
Nah. I
He's
mean,
not
every
here.
time you look at the back card, you're like, hopefully he's watching.
Either way,
You definitely slung it back a bunch.
he was. I don't know if
Good. If he's still there, that's perfect.
Tommy, take it easy.
You guys meet Tommy.
This is a tournament.
Oh, he doesn't do this in the tournament anymore.
No, not when he's at the final table and you do his left.
By the way, another straddle, another raise, another
How excited
3-bet.
were you when
Back to
your
back
table
from
decided to play
Canuli.
speed
Wow.
poker, when you had him just absolutely
I think the second 3-bet looks stronger.
It does. I love it.
Because
very big proponent of, like,
most people think you're never going to be capable of doing it the second time without a big hand.
Literally the most amazing thing ever.
Both players flop a pair. Obviously, Porter with the best of it right now.
No, they were.
And Canuli's going to continue here almost always.
Playing fast, other people tend to play fast as well.
He can pick up spades on the turn.
Slow down and think all the time. They think against you.
And a lot of the times his opponent's just not going to
You
have
had him
it.
absolutely. I mean, you had the best spot in the history.
If Porter had 7s here or 5s, puts him in a tough spot.
The
biggest bubble.
Obviously, I don't know if he's going to fold right away to 1-bet, but he may.
It feels like, depending on his stack size here, he could be check raising here for value. I don't think that would be unreasonable at all. It's a tough hand to play out of position, unless you think your opponent's going to double barrel you.
All right, we'll let him do it.
Check raising might be
It was so perfect.
a good play because you're also doing that with draws a lot. So,
Well, he did with King Deuce of clubs, remember?
right, and so if your opponent knows you could have those weak hands, he might not bet fold like a worse jack, or
Just couldn't do anything.
I mean, he's going to also not know what to do with something like 2-10s.
Oh, that. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's hard. It's hard to raise.
Porter does raise, this time to 3,900, back over to
Canuli,
Canuli.
you know,
All right, this is what happened. Nobody was
I mean, he
aware
kinda
that
has
the
to
other
fold
table
this
was
hand.
playing as slow as was playing as slow as they were, until Eric Lindgren yells out in the audience, "Yo, you guys are 30 hands ahead of them," to Daniel. And it's right, we're like 5 minutes away from a break. So we play the 5 minutes, no one slows down, whatever. Then they come back hand for hand. So they complained it, and
So
hand
they
for
didn't
hand
even
like
know.
2 hands.
So nobody even told
We
everybody.
weren't,
that.
none of us knew that. He was on the other table. Your table was playing slow.
He
Our
was
table
playing
was
so
playing.
slow. I was 14 or 14 at one point, and the guy Stern was taking 5 minutes in every shot.
He
Literally
was,
had to. I had
he
to
was
call
probably
clock
in
on.
second or
Did
first.
either one of you guys play with
that guy Tom Kearney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he
Knocked
play?
him out.
How did he play?
He played tight.
What?
Played
He
tight.
played tight?
He played okay.
Because I used to play with him 10 years ago. This guy Tom, he's
Yeah, he's from New York.
No, he's from New Hampshire.
Sometimes the game's
No, he mentioned that. He saw I was Brazilian. Like,
last week I
yeah, I remember that.
He played tight?
That's his style. He's tight. Trying to think if we played a couple hands together, and I won most of them. It was like nothing special. It's like I said.
I've found lots of hands to play that don't meet either of those criteria.
I've had, I've put in a
I
few
mean, like I had
myself.
2 kings. They weren't suited or connected.
The only legitimate hand I've had been dealt today was the
Your
Queen
kids,
Jack of
your kids
Diamonds.
watching this on live stream right now?
My kids? My 12-year-old daughter? No, probably not. Actually, one of them might. Actually,
Just the
my,
2 of us again?
my stepdaughter,
Once
because my
again.
wif's watching.
The spot's a little smaller though, so I might
Did
not
he
try as
fold on
hard
the
to win
flop?
it.
I wasn't paying attention.
I checked
my,
raised, he gave
my
up.
adopted kids, not my real
Scared.
adopted kids, but my poker kids do.
Really?
I have
Have a replay.
2 poker kids
Yeah.
that
But I don't wanna
I'm
be
a
that
favorite to
adopted.
check because he's
Oh,
a favorite to
shit.
Young
bet.
kids that I've
Right,
had
that's
taken
like,
in and
it's the most likely sequence is check
made
bet, right?
just kind of
I know
tutored and
that. I
helped.
saw your raise. I didn't realize.
No, I'm saying. I'm saying
Canuli
like
raised
the
this,
replay right
flops a
here,
flush
just
draw.
like-
Porter with the
This
ace of
one
clubs
looks
and a
like
pair of
no point.
5s.
Not going anywhere.
He won the Classic, did you say?
Yeah, I have 2 guys I live with.
Just because you missed the last one,
Yeah,
let's try again.
2 guys that.
By the way, you remember
I live
earlier
with
on when he
the
raised
first
with,
and third
Your
classes.
buddy Ray went.
with King Deuce of clubs, and you questioned, would he be raising here with ace queen? And if so, it makes it really difficult for Abernathy.
And he did.
And he raised with ace jack.
Good for him.
So
I like what I
You
saw.
have to do that.
it makes the call with queen 10
Much worse.
much worse.
And good for him for knowing that he has to be raising with ace-jack because he's raising with weak hands.
I mean, if you were to stove that, and by the way, anybody new to poker doesn't know, it's basically software that you can use where you can plug your opponent's range of all the hands they might have versus your holding and see how you do. And if you were to do that and basically say, okay, flush draws with some overcards, because the ace of clubs and the king of clubs is there,
I appreciate
plus
it.
ace queen, plus a set of 3s, plus a set of
Oh, you had
8s.
aces? He had aces?
Queen 10's doing pretty bad.
Wow, clear
It's
fold.
so unfortunate for you because like he's
I mean,
more
you
likely
beat
to
Jack
go
10 of
for
clubs,
10
Jack 9 of clubs, 10 9 of clubs, but
Big turn card here for Canuli. He's now open-ended with the flush draw. And he's gonna barrel this again, put a lot of pressure on Porter.
I like overbetting here. I don't think he should be betting small because you don't really want your opponent to call on the turn here. So yeah, he bet 2,900. I like that bet a lot.
He
Like
bet
I like
29 into 35.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a spot where I might even bet like
working on
4,800 or 5,000.
Wow.
Just because like you have enough equity to get it all in, but you don't want him to be the one check raising all in.
Are you balancing that? Are you also overbetting the pot when you have 2 pair or a set?
Yeah, of course. But it's just a spot where your range,
I know Ray does. I played with Ray in the class.
where you want to be, it's just a good spot for your range to be overbetting.
Blind range.
400?
Once again, if you're just joining us,
For sure.
welcome. If you found us through Twitch, welcome as well. We are here, Poker Night in America, 2550, no limit hold'em cash game.
If we all voted, that would be
Some
live.
big names at this at this cash game, including 2 November Niners. Take a look at the cash game details. We are in beautiful upstate New York at Verona, New York. If you've never been here, highly recommend you check it out. Buy-ins range in from $5,000 to $20,000, and players have done the full gamut.
I want 6s.
Blesnik in for the most right now. He's in for $23,000. Joining me on my side is Alec Torelli, high stakes cash game player, plays in Macau, plays some of the biggest cash games in the world, and he is alongside me offering his analysis and insight throughout.
No, I'm just going to look.
Been a fun day.
Get a raise here from Blesnik.
That's a dead money. I'm dead serious.
No, I'm going to look, and then I'm going to put it in if I have anything reasonable.
Anything reasonable.
Not always the best to tell your opponents your strategy, especially if you're honest, but feels like he's sincere here.
King 9 you can move in.
King 9 I can move in?
The worst hand I'm calling you with is 6-5 suited.
Okay. Then I'm all in.
So he could take his 400 back.
For how much?
No, the 400 went past
400 already
went past.
By the way, this is 100% live read from Baker.
First one's
Baker's been playing live poker for a long time. Blesnik talked.
What did I say, 6-5 suited?
Yes.
6-5 off. Oh.
It's a great live read from Baker.
Yeah, it is.
That was a good raise.
Ooh, that was good.
I'm not sure about this tactic of looking at the other people's cards when they.
I assume he let him.
Yeah.
It was suited, though.
As soon as I said that, he moved into that was brilliant. Well played.
Thank you, sir.
King 9 or better?
Yeah, Baker's not new to this game. This is he's been around the block once or twice.
That's why I called. That's why I did it. I'm like, beautiful. I got you dominated.
I'm always a
As long as I can have
little
percentage of your
trepidatious
hands
about
dominated,
talking too much to a live pro. I mean, I'm all about keeping it social, having fun. I think that's great. And that's part of the game. But if I'm in the hand,
Yeah.
and you're up against an amateur, it's different. But you're up against a live pro, be careful.
Yeah, whenever you're up against someone more experienced than you don't want to give them any reason
I'm
to.
not going to give away all my little
Hack Taco, yes, I have a blog, alectrelli.com. Check it out. It's being redone now, but you can
What do you talk about in your blog?
follow me along there tomorrow.
It's 500 in the light.
A lot of poker, a lot of things about poker. Not only poker strategy, but just things that help people with.
Will you blog about this?
Last week he was stuck 100.
Yeah, maybe.
Will you write about me?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Helping people be better at poker, better poker players in general. A lot of lifestyle things too, like productivity and being happier. And
What's your motivation to help people get better at poker?
I'm working on it.
I just enjoy it. Like I really like connecting with people. Like a big influence of mine is like
Ooh.
big hand.
Yeah, we do have a big hand here. So Abernathy was the original raiser in a straddled pot. She raises with ace-king. Remember, last time she raised under the gun, she had 3-4 diamonds. Canuli 3-bets. He's seen her get out of line more than once. He 3-bets right away with the whole table yet to act behind him. McKeon with the 4-bet. And I kind of love I love what's going on here, especially with the 2 November
jamming.
Niners.
I mean, I tried to look at this.
She's got a lot of money to jam, dude.
I think you do.
She's got like $18,000.
Oh, dear.
Does she really? I'm so used to her being shorter
Yeah.
that I was off in my analysis. What I mean is she's not going anywhere, and I assume she had like 8 or 9K.
Yeah.
I forgot that she doubled up that hand. She smashed it twice. So I mean,
You wanted
we know
to,
she's
you wanted
not
to
going to
jam
fold.
like 200
No,
bigs?
of course not. I didn't think she had that
Okay.
many chips. I thought she had like 8 or 9K. Absolutely, she's not going anywhere based on how she's played pre-flop thus far.
Right.
It's just a question of whether she decides to raise it again, and I think she's been pretty passive.
How would you play it? Would you 5-bet it, or would you just call?
I think that if you're 20K deep against McKeon, who's 4-betting a correct range, you're supposed to fold.
Wow, so Abernathy calls, and Canuli comes along for the ride too. Feels priced in. This pot already, $7,000. Blesnik not in there. So ace-9,
I mean,
queens,
Canuli has
ace-king.
a really bad hand to have in this spot.
He's
His
also
hand,
sandwiched between the two players.
I don't like his spot at all.
About bet sizing.
I mean, that 8-9 suited fine, but ace-9 is not good.
Queen's still in the lead. And I think based on the pre-flop action, you're scared of pocket jacks, but that's about it. If you're McKeon, right? Jack 6 board.
One night where
I mean, does Abernathy have aces or kings here? Probably not.
I think with the speed and style to which she called, she doesn't. I don't think she gave off that aura when she was debating what to do pre-flop. She kind of said, I have an automatic call pre-flop. I can't really fold, but I'm not considering raising.
Well, plus Cannuli's behind her. I mean, if she had aces or kings, she...
Absolutely.
So you ante a quarter. Why do you bet before starting with ante 50?
And I think it has to just go check, fold, fold here. I don't think either player can really justify getting out of line.
McKeon bets half the pot, 4,000 into 8,200.
I don't even think he needs to bet that much. He could bet 2,800 here. I mean, the pot size is so big, and he should be giving himself a better price on his C-bet.
He's losing the one hand right now.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, he should be bluffing with smaller bet sizing because he doesn't have to bet so big when the pot's big.
Good point.
Because they're either going to check fold or check raise all in, most likely. I guess Cannuli and them are deep. They're going to check call, but you don't need to bet that big because when you're bluffing, you want to be able to take a cheap stab at the pot. And the only hands they could call you with are, you know, a good pocket pair or a big jack in their hand. So you don't really need to bet that big. And maybe you want to give your opponent a chance to get out of line.
By the way, I'm very aware of the fact that, you know, there's a...
I bet like 2,400 here, maybe even.
I'm very aware of the fact that since Cannuli has ace-9, he could theoretically have a 6 in his hand, but we just... I don't think if you're McKeon, you think either player has a 6 in their hand.
I think it's way too ambitious to rep a 6 here.
No, I think if you're... I think the Cannuli was actually thinking, can I rep pocket jacks?
Yeah.
And get my opponent... Can I rep pocket jacks and get my opponent to fold aces or kings?
Yeah. I just think it's too ambitious. I don't think it was going to get through. I think he was smart to fold. He was probably thinking it, which you should be thinking. I just think that it's too hard to get it through.
By the way, McKeon, remember earlier on he had ace-king against the 7-8 in Dentali, and he doubled up Dentali and he was down about $3,000 or $4,000. Suddenly now, he's now up 10,000 on the day.
Right.
So he and Dentali are two big winners.
Selective aggression.
Nice turnaround. And by the way, your pick, who you said you back.
McKeon.
Good investment.
Yeah, all day.
Should be betting like what?
Joe.
Wait, what do you want? Don't ask me my opinion.
Is this a poker lesson? Or
I respect his opinion.
Doesn't matter really.
I was really wondering if there's any of the November 9 kind of
You probably are right.
psychology going to be played out in that hand or not.
Respect his.
He said the same thing. So.
It's too big, way too big.
I believe. Okay. That is half the pie. It's cash game. I thought like 3/4 is normal.
Well, if you had like 27, I mean, it would be fine.
Depends on what your hand is. If you had an overpair, that's a terrible bet.
Just
If you
the
had
stack size.
ace 10, that's a good bet.
for anything to put these
Right, that's why I thought you were bluffing.
I know. Cash games.
They're actually talking about the sizing of that bet.
In a tournament?
Yeah.
I don't know if it can be bad. I mean, you can level someone and think like, okay, you don't have a hand there. I don't know.
I'm not.
See, nobody thinks he has a hand there because he bet so much. He almost leveled his opponent into making a move.
Yeah, and that's true. The other side of that coin is, does his opponent really has enough room to make a move? And when he bets so big, it's hard. What's his opponent going to do? Check raise to 10K? It commits him so much to the pot that he doesn't really have enough chips to do that. So that while it does make his hand look weaker in a way, I just think betting smaller gives Cannuli more of a chance to check raise. Gives him a better price on a check raise. So we have some fireworks here.
Yeah, two players with top pair. Dentali with the best of it by far. Abernathy with a gut shot. Two spades out there, though I'm not sure if she wants to get involved.
She's been getting involved.
Yeah,
so.
she likes to take chances.
Yeah, you could probably win.
What are you talking about? You got guys betting 4,000 on the Jack 6-6 flop. How is this not a good lineup?
Did you hear me announce that Jack 6 was my hand? That's why I did it.
Siegel, I'm supposed to lose like 2,000 an hour in this game. That's the truth.
How much are you losing per hour?
4,000.
So Dentali might check raise here.
Like 8.
No. Okay.
She's gonna call here. Pot is now 2,700.
Oh yeah. How much that is shares?
Who raised pre-flop?
Not even.
I mean, let's be honest. The only three good players at the table are Tom, Andrew, and Sam.
Cash game.
Yeah, Sam, Tom, and Andrew are the only three players. The rest of us are a bunch of mixed game tournament donkeys.
He's a tournament donkey.
Come on now, I don't want to play no limit cash. When you see me play no limit cash?
This is the first time in like
You're one of the
2
best
years.
limit hold'em players in the world. It's not that much different.
Huh?
You're one of the best limit hold'em players in the world. It's not that much different.
Hold'em not that different.
Do you understand how much faster the game is? That alone makes it so much better.
Have you played limit hold'em with him or no?
I'm saying,
Are you a
play
tanker in
two
limit,
sixes the same in a limit hold?
I'm not a tanker in anything.
Yeah.
I tank when I have a real decision,
That's understandable.
but not other than that.
Fair.
Yeah,
I
only
think
when I
I'm
have a
the same
decision.
way.
And I'll have a decision. I'll have a decision today a couple times.
Yeah, you take
I
a
think
while
I'm
to
more,
win in the.
I think I might go to Baton Rouge and watch Auburn LSU game. Yeah.
Hello.
Loved it when she called the 2,700 because I knew you couldn't afford that. You just gotta try and gauge it.
So Abernathy led there, got called, and look at the river's a queen, but that got rid of the king-queen. And then Holly's going to end up winning this.
Well, this is a...
Is she going to bluff at it again?
She is, but I don't really know what she's repping here.
She's repping a 5. She's repping 6-5, something like that.
6-5 suited, the check called the flop with 2 people behind her.
Dude, she's got 6-8. We've seen her with 4-3. We've seen her with Jack Deuce.
Right, but I don't know if her opponents are going to think that. You know, we know
Maybe
that's
not.
possible from the booth, but is Dentale going to believe that story? I don't know.
And she bet 6,200. Girl's got heart.
She got lucky with
She's got
the
heart.
river here that this is a great card for her to bluff because the flush got there and King Queen and Jack 10 got there. She got really lucky that the perfect card came for her because on a deuce river, she's never, ever, ever getting this through.
No, I mean, there's a chance that, okay, she tries to bet the turn with a spade draw, kind of name her price for her draw in a weird way.
Right.
Try to weirdly, like, oh, can I rep 6-5 here? But now you look at it, if you're Dentale, it's like, well, I can't beat a 5.
And I can't beat a flush.
I can't beat a flush.
I can't beat a straight.
If somehow she actually had a set of 9s.
Right.
I can't beat that.
I don't even know what I beat. I beat 6-8, 6-7,
6-8
or
offsuit.
8-7, or like
Right.
that's it. But at the same time, it's just really fortunate for her that she even got this river card to get this hand through. I mean, there's only a few rivers that she can bluff. She has a spade in her hand, which blocks the spade. The 9 of spades is hard for her to represent.
Do you think she's bluffing the river if a blank comes off? Red deuce?
I think so, and I think that she's going to pay for it. That's why I said I think she's super lucky here. Because to bet this turn without bluffing a blank river is pretty bad because it means that you're only bluffing on spade rivers, which don't come often enough to justify bluffing on the turn. There's only 8 spades left in the deck, so how can you plan on bluffing that? And one of them's the 9 of spades, and you can't really bluff the 9 of spades.
Let's see if we can hear her say anything.
And I figure it's gonna be Timmy.
I would try to engage her in a conversation if I could. Let's see.
Good chance it's gonna get one too.
I probably ain't gonna shit on if any of those guys open early on. I probably ain't gonna shit on them first. Unless I have it. You don't gotta
I do think he's probably going to fold. He's booked a nice win. I think psychology, he's booked a nice win.
So much of his history
Doesn't
plays
want to
in
give
here.
$7,000 away.
Doesn't want to look stupid after he looks smart. A lot plays in here. I agree.
Because I mean, he can knit it up the rest of the night and book a nice $6,000, $7,000 win. Doesn't want to give that away.
And that's what he's thinking right now. You can tell he's counting his stack and thinking about those things. And I think that you got to give her credit for knowing that.
Yeah.
She made a big bet on the river, which is what she needed. And it's really likely he has a king here, the way he played the hand.
I wish I could bet on you. I wish I could bet on this one. Right now, I owe you a glass of wine.
Yeah. Keep going, we'll be at a bottle.
I'm okay with that.
I'm just kidding.
The bar's open till 2.
I actually don't know what I think he's going to do. I think
he's going to fold.
I think he's going to fold. But he might end up making a call that in his heart he knows he probably shouldn't make, even though he's right, which is kind of the weird thing. Oh, when she talks, I think that gives a little away. He might talk himself into a call now.
I wish the rest of the table would be quiet so I could hear him.
The game you're in. I mean, like, I think he plays tournament differently than he plays cash games. I think he understands that he's supposed to adjust his game. He's a great player,
What did you say? I don't have what?
Why are you sitting here so long? I had to be in the month 4 hours. So, really? That's all you have is ace-10? Come on, throw that hand away. Let's play another hand. 7 minutes?
When the money kept disappearing.
Every dawn,
Mikey goes a little too
that's a huge win for that team.
Give me the city.
Oh, you stayed to play that pair left.
I guess I'm a title player, right?
Yeah, you have a good spot to take a minute.
She should definitely, demeanor-wise, just be like covering her hands and going like this and making it seem like she has it. Talking is bad in her spot.
Not all of us are as good at no limit hold'em as you and know what to do in these spots.
Seagull?
You in a car with someone else's money. You're in a show, right? Yeah. So sick.
what confused me is I was betting on the turn, and you could have check raised if you had a big hand. That's what
2700 is good
confused me.
3 in that spot. Too little.
Credit to him.
You could have check raised.
Smart logic by him. He's saying, you could have check raised with a big hand. Why would you bet into me on the turn when you know I'm going to bet?
You still bet. That's what confused me. You have a big hand like 9's full, you're going to be like this.
Yeah, it's not weird in the spot.
And then check raise.
Yeah, no, I call him clock. So aggressive. Maybe I should just say like 3.
Oh, you definitely don't have 9s. I know that for a fact. You would have check raised with a 9. You could have a 5.
He's on lockdown. He's got a hand. He would snap call if he was stuck, but he's ahead and he doesn't want to have to call. He doesn't want to throw it away.
This is ridiculous.
Come on, this is Mike. You don't have to. No, this is 10 minutes, man.
Let's go.
Mike, some of us are buried. We got to play
Yeah,
now.
I'm buried. I told you not to play slow, dude.
Everybody could lick my ass. Pretty cool.
All right,
We could edit
I'll
that.
do it first. I'll volunteer to do it first.
I mean, we could edit that. It's cool.
There wouldn't
Oh, we
be
cannot
much of
edit
a
it, leave
bar
it
in the
I
front.
need about 60, I need about 60 seconds and I'll make a decision. Cool?
Let him
Is
go.
that cool, Sam?
He showed his hand. Let him go.
This would be the bar in the front. Is that
I
too
mean, you're
big?
going to show either way, right? So I guess.
You play better.
I like that. Jared just says you bet too much and nobody says anything. Mike tells him what to do. Nobody cares.
And I'm trying not to be like, ah. I don't want to.
You're trying to not tell him you're a donkey with ace king and please throw that
I
away.
mean, 52 is a lot. It's hard when you're playing friends with people.
I hate you. Is that better?
You're a little bigger guy.
I'll still take you out.
Yeah, not much.
Small guy.
I don't help, but I do.
Like I can't go forward.
If you backed up to that door over there, you could probably get around him.
Oh, he's going to fold it.
I mean, it sounds like a flight. It sounds like
I
a
guess
flight.
they're going to go with 4-5.
He does give her the 5.
I like that too.
Did she say that she didn't have a flush? She said she didn't have 9s.
This game just got really good. That's what happened.
Yeah,
This
there's
game
no
just
shot.
got
You hate
really,
me?
really good.
I
No,
fold.
no, stop. Will you
I
hate me?
You
fold.
bluff.
4-5
You bluff.
I give you.
I told you I was
Going Blesnik needling Dentale here.
Oh, you hit the call button.
Mickey, that's why you got to shut your mouth.
I wasn't paying attention.
You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to keep quiet. You made me fold. Stop it because of your big mouth. I folded because of you. You know that?
And
You
this
put
is,
the pressure on me. You made me
All
feel,
right, I'll take the blame.
and I folded because of you.
Yeah.
Sam?
14 minutes.
That's why you got to
Mike.
shut up.
Like 14 minutes you were in the
Mickey,
tank,
that's
bro.
why you got to shut up.
I want you to know when Mike's losing, he's serious.
I would
I
never.
was
I
calling
agree.
and you made me fold. You put me under pressure on camera and I
I'm
folded because of
sorry.
you. And you cost me that pot.
That's
I
embarrassing.
But
That's
he said,
embarrassing.
he said he'd be first in line
That
to
hand
lick
is
your ass.
embarrassing is what it is.
He volunteered to be
Blesnik
first
with
in
the
line to
needle.
lick your ass. That's for something, isn't it?
That hand is embarrassing.
That's why
think
you
you
shouldn't
should be
say
taking
something.
me
You
out.
never see me say anything when I'm in a hand.
I can't take
That's
you
the
out. You
reason
got all
why.
the
That's why you play
All I know
very
is
I don't really,
I'm going to put these 5
I don't really agree with just blaming other people for your
embarrassing.
decisions thing. I mean,
You play bad.
he had 7 minutes to think about it. I think that
I would. I think it's
I
awesome.
would, that was not
I would immediately
like
show
a-
you
No,
guys.
he
the
asked
big
you to
bluff.
show it.
I said I was
Horrible fold.
Don't feel
Horrible
bad.
fold.
Blesnik
The last
just ripping
game
it.
you
Realize
lost,
that we were all going to
Sam
know
all
in
in,
30
Mike, I
minutes
would've stopped
when it blew
Yeah,
up Twitter.
that's, you would have snap called it.
So I should stop.
It
playing
seems
him.
like
That's the only
she made it
reason.
best last
Like they're going to know anyway, so why not know? You shouldn't feel bad. I'm just saying you shouldn't feel bad. You played your hand good, you got the chips, and you honored your word.
He said you'd show it. He's going to see it anyway.
That was such a bad fold by him. So bad.
You can't call 6.
It's so obvious she had 6-8 off. I don't know what the hand you guys were
Pair,
watching.
3 spades and a straight.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious she had 6-8 off. So
By
right?
the way, I wasn't kidding when I said he snap called call.
You think that? You're the only one.
I think so.
Nobody's calling 6.
Whatever, though.
What are you saying?
He's entitled to his awful opinion.
No.
What are your friends going to say when they
There are
see
a
that
lot of
hand on
hands that
TV?
beat ace king there.
Oh, I'm
It's not
sorry.
going to matter. I
You
doubled him up
don't put me on
earlier, so
ace
he's
king.
fine.
You don't know what I have. You're just betting.
I doubled him up
Why
earlier,
not?
so he's
It's
fine.
like game on.
Yeah, I see it.
No, maybe.
You don't know I have ace
right.
king. You can never put me on ace
Just so
king.
you guys all know, this is the tip pot. Don't forget.
What?
You can
I had
never,
that
you
in
can
mind,
never
thank
give
you,
me
Red.
ace king. You're just betting no
So,
matter
play
what.
tight.
You don't realize.
Play tight
No.
if it's a tip.
Like I said, when I
if
bet
you
out
have
of
your
turn,
seat card in
if
your
you
hand, you have
have
to
pocket
play the
nines, you're
hand. Like,
never,
if I have an 8 in my hand,
you're never
it's
betting.
gonna
You're
be
going to
350.
check and then check raise me. So I know you never have 9s fold.
I
The only
wouldn't
thing
check
is the
raise.
river works in your favor.
You actually
The river's a break you're getting
Yeah,
called no
it's
matter
not-
what.
yeah.
Right? The spade.
I said if I
You
had
actually made a really good read, though. What you said, you
I
should
made
have
a
went
bad
with it.
fold.
When you
I should have went with my read.
By the way, if I'm
My read was
Dentale,
the fold.
there's no way I'd tell her that.
Listen,
Because I don't want to stop her from bluffing if a brick comes off.
After 10 minutes.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
a really.
It's like, why tell her that? Why say,
Exactly.
hey, if it's not a spade, if the river's a brick, you're getting called.
See, and this is what we
Okay,
talked
well
about.
then, I'm gonna take that into my head and go, okay, cool. The next time the nuts change in the river, I'll bluff. But when the nuts don't change,
Right. It's what we talked about earlier in leaving ego out of it. And when you get
Yeah.
emotional and attached and you take it personal, you make bad decisions. And I think, the first reaction was blaming the other person for his own mistake. And now, educating.
by the way, I don't know if it was a mistake.
Nah,
I mean,
that
if you
was
were
a great
sitting at the
spot.
table, we
Right
get to the
now,
cards.
it's a tip high.
No, I'm not
That's a
saying it
tough-
was a
I mean,
mistake. I just
She
mean,
shouldn't be bluffing there.
Right. I think it's a good fold
If
versus her
an
range,
eight-
but I'm
less
just
likely an eight
saying
comes off if I have one.
the reaction to
Yes,
the
I agree.
fold was to go outwards.
Yeah, I agree
And
100%.
it's just
Seed eight,
taking
therefore I played
the
the eight because it's less
decision-making
likely an eight.
power away from
Well, like
yourself,
gaining equity.
doesn't empower you to make better decisions going forward.
I know, right?
It's just
so beyond-
sucking
so
energy away
advanced,
from
I'm
your
gaining
own game.
$250.
By the way, McCallie just folded
That
ace
was
king
such a great
to a 3-bet.
Such a bad fold.
To who?
What a bad fold.
There was a raise for McKeon. McCallie called with ace king. Blesnik 3-bet with queens. McKeon folded.
Something interesting about
McCallie
that
folded.
That I've known.
The second time we've seen McCallie fold
That
ace
I've
king
noticed
pre
over time.
to a Blesnik 3-bet.
Something interesting.
Crazy.
This time Blesnik actually had the hand.
Yeah, but that's still just crazy.
Very crazy.
That's insane.
Doesn't pull his
I
punches.
mean, just way too passive against Blesnik. I mean, aside from the hand Blesnik had, Blesnik's range there is like any two.
McCallie also. I mean, we have no idea how big these players play under normal circumstances. We don't know anybody's financial situation, and we're not even going to try to guess. Except the 2 November Niners, who we know at least made $1 million. But McCallie's got like $3,500, $4,000 locked up, and you wonder if that's factoring in.
Absolutely, a lot of times it is, especially when they're playing a game that's a little outside their comfort zone, a little bigger than they normally play, and then a lot of the things add up to that. The lights, the camera, looking good on television are all important for the people.
Baker flops a flush draw with backdoor straight possibilities. Should be able to win this.
Like you're just honest in those spots.
The one time Jared volunteered, so we didn't do a tip high.
Then Tali just check called with ace 9.
Your tip game.
Tilt maybe from last hand.
It's got to be. I mean, it's just way too ambitious against Baker here. I mean, what's he doing?
Like, what the ace 9? What's your plan?
Yeah, check raising maybe, but
right.
I am honest for the most part.
A couple people asking. This is a cash game. We're playing $25.50 with an optional $100 straddle. Guys can buy in anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000.
I did. I added 5.
Some big name players at the table. Alex Torelli alongside me. I'm David Tuckman, and we are here for Poker Night in America in upstate New York at Turning Stone.
As soon as Mike got bluffed, I had to add 5,000.
I think it's what's happening is Sam's trying to slide away from the palm. Did you shower today?
Oh, he just asked me if I added chips.
Everything okay down there?
No, he's taking. That's the problem. His girl's in the rail. She has.
I don't need to. I have a girl.
It's not Tom. It's not Sam.
And you got tips in the main event still. So like
exactly.
No more need for showering.
That's whatever.
I just said.
Nah, you better fucking shower.
And
a good needle time.
And you can wear your sweatpants and your old
But it
shoes
wasn't a
every
good
day.
fold, Mike. It was just bad that time.
Oh, sorry.
I love sweatpants.
In general, though.
To answer Dan O'Brien, Samantha's
general,
been
you should be
very
I was right. She's never ever, when I bet out of
ambitious
turn,
pre-flop.
she's raising me, she had a real
A little loose.
Yeah, but she has a flush a lot there, too.
Maybe not.
That's
If
the only
if I
one.
don't know nuts, why would I raise?
No, she doesn't have a made hand.
never
but
cut
she
Defended
makes- I mean, she
2,000
doesn't
with
have a made hand before the river, but
3-4
she makes
diamonds.
hand on the
Hey, she
river.
got there, okay?
She got there.
She's got hearts.
They ran it twice and she
Personal going
scooped,
on here,
which was
Joe
awesome.
Made that comment?
Not trying.
About sweatpants.
She did just pull off a sweep
No, he was
flop.
making a joke.
Then Tally, it has him a little rattled, maybe.
But she has a flush.
10 high flop, 2 hearts out there.
Do you over $2 million in tournament?
Queen still in the lead. That's Rhett Porter.
Are you serious?
Rhett Porter made a deep run in the main
Kind of a
event
good
couple
spot
years
to
ago.
check raise with if you're a check call with McKeon, just because you could rep so many hearts, which is kind of cool. So I like almost continuing with McKeon because there's cards that you could really rep easily, and there's a lot of scare cards for your opponent, even if they have a big hand like
A
Nova
year
Fair.
of playing poker and you can bet 6,200 with nothing against a stone retard? That's pretty.
I don't think that's politically correct, though.
That's
Come on
pretty.
now. He's not stoned.
1,600.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
No,
right.
he's pretty close
right?
to
You
Stone.
can't, you can't.
He's as
a
close
little
as you
above
get.
there.
Yeah, I think Dan O'Brien was watching. I think he was just
That
Wow.
shirt is way too small.
Maybe.
And that is a detriment. against
Dentale
the
bet
card.
1,600, and this is. I mean, I think in light of what's been happening with Dentale, and this is just live poker. You play a lot of games. You realize the fact that he could be tilting. I'm just never folding queens here.
Yeah, that being said, it's really like, what the hell could he be bluffing with? The heart got there, the straight got there. But then again, yeah, he might just be betting a 10 or a 9 or who knows, ace-8 or just a hand he shouldn't have. He's played 2 hands in a row. He just called the 3-bet out of position. Just so hard to fold here, even though you don't beat much. Whereas
When I factor in tilt possibility.
yeah, it's so hard to fold. The Dentale of 2 hours ago might have got this through.
Oh yeah, I can buy that. I can buy that for sure.
Right.
And by the way, if he gets called here, if he doesn't get called, it's different. But if he gets called here,
Oh, it could be a derailing.
oh, it's off. Dentale is off the rail.
Yeah.
I give Dentale like 41 minutes until he goes broke.
Yeah, and you know he's never going to quit either. Thanks, Rabazo. Rosabo. Appreciate that.
He'll show you if you call, though, for sure.
Not if you slow roll.
Yeah, and this is why that moment we go back to before when, after losing, he just kind of lashes out and gets frustrated. It's so important to not have that happen because it just compounds the mistake that you made. What ended up happening?
He called.
He called and he mucked.
Porter called.
Okay,
and,
and he
well,
just
obviously ace queen's not good.
Yeah, I didn't know if he just mucked.
You know you're.
Oh, by the way, I've seen guys make. You never know. A guy could hero call there with like ace jack, and you just feel like an idiot if you folded ace queen.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it's happening in this particular spot.
For sure. Though.
4 hours ago.
More than me. What
Hey,
are you
Mikey,
talking
this
about?
is blue 2,500,
David.
3,000.
Dealer.
Oh, you did?
Can you alert C?
Okay, we're on Dentale watch.
How many hands do you want to play?
Amazing how quickly things change at the poker table.
Like
Like
yeah.
online, you lose 2 or 3 hands, it's like whatever.
He used to be the biggest
But live, it
traditional
just
limit
feels
holder, like,
so
he would just play
overwhelming
every hand,
sometimes,
and now he went to
and
no limit, and now
it gets to players so much.
Remember back in the
Did you
day
ever
when you
see
played
the
limit?
movie with Eddie Murphy,
was
Dr.
big.
Dolittle?
You played every hand. You couldn't wait to play pot. Now
Did you
no
ever see
limit.
the Eddie Murphy movie with Dr.
Okay, so we got
Oh,
we actually,
Porter
by the way,
bet.
yeah, we got the action wrong.
Sorry,
My
guys,
apologies.
on Twitch.
Our graphic was wrong, and our obviously I was wrong.
Yeah,
One of those big seats.
thank you guys for correcting us. Porter bet with 2 queens on the river, which should never bet there. He's never really getting called by worse, and all the draws got there, so I don't really like value betting with queens. I guess he could get called by a 10 against Dentale.
Thank you.
Thanks for telling us, guys.
Red Sox Nets 5. Appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Do they show all hands on this show or no?
Every hand.
The live stream has them all.
The what? No, the real show.
Yeah, no shot.
They don't show all of them?
No, it's the big one.
Alec Torelli, David Tuckman here for Poker Night in America in Turning Stone, upstate New York. It's beautiful this time of year. Playing 25-50, no limit hold'em with a $100 straddle.
They're going to film the tournament, the final 6 in the tournament. How many hours? Put it on TV. There's one right now.
They said they get a couple of shows.
It's going to be televised.
Hey, Alec,
What's up?
a good friend of mine is trying to change his appearance to see how it affects his opponents at the poker table.
Yeah,
So he's going like full cowboy. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I think it's totally going to change how people perceive you, and people have incomplete information, and they're going to just assume something about you. That's kind of a good idea.
You just put a target
It'd be
on
fun. You saw Phil Locke dressed up as the old guy at the World Series. That was a riot. I'm sure he had a huge edge.
No longer allowed, by the way.
Yeah. It just goes to show how big of an advantage
Oh, it's huge.
it could give you.
Yeah, turn that off before you go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that happened like a week ago or
This is
two.
a camera. This is a camera. You can use.
Lesnick opens with 9-7 offsuit.
Huh?
You want action?
I think he's only opening certain players' blinds here.
If you had- you said
Yeah,
you want
I would
action.
imagine you're probably correct.
I would have gave him action. You said
You know you had 60%
I wish
of
they
the
showed
steel
all the
wheel, right?
hands. They're not going to.
they do want to lie.
So what I would like to see more of
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube forever.
is
Forever and ever and ever.
Canuli McKeon
Nothing
3-betting
ever dies
him
that goes on the internet.
when it's so obvious he's opening too wide on those players' blinds. It's going to be so hard for him to adjust out of position against 3-bets from good players, and he's been showing that he's just been playing super fit or fold in that situation. So I think that they should be loosening up a little bit there.
I think
It's like
He's
the pot
just running
calling.
bad.
It's like
It's
the
just
pot
bad
calling
luck.
to kill a block.
Mike, it's just bad luck.
I didn't say people play bad.
But I don't
said
get it.
you play bad.
Everybody
You play
plays
your
bad.
hands
They
bad.
said about 4 or 5 people play bad and you're stuck 30K.
Remember, he's on the downswing, so he's being serious right now.
No, I know. So me, I'm sorry.
I've experienced it.
Wait, give him a hand back.
Give him his hand back, please. It's over horror.
300.
Wow. What?
Are we running late on the deal?
Cut this. Like that diamond's in half, and that diamond goes almost all the way to the edge there.
Okay, you got me.
Be good with this deck?
Let's gamble.
We're getting cheated?
I'm just saying, like, the cards aren't cut exactly symmetrically.
Am I getting cheated?
Probably. That's
I mean, how
the
could
only
you have a
excuse. Fine.
Go ahead, deal.
He's got to wait for the guy to come.
You want to see his hand and mine?
What's the difference? You think
I
I'm gonna
check.
So I'm not sure how much I love Porter raising under the gun here with queen 10 off.
You don't know what's going on.
I mean, Blesnik raising with queen 10 off.
A lot of money.
He might have something.
Canuli's
That's
call,
like half the
I'm not
pot.
in
Is
love
that
with.
appropriate bet size for this situation?
a little loose action all around here.
I don't know. The board's not as dry as mine. On a Jack 6-6 rainbow.
Well, I thought maybe he should have bet even more.
This time they're all red. That's the problem. Mine they were like red and black and not the same pattern.
Different shapes.
Yeah. All the shapes were different. Some of the colors were different. It was nice.
Right?
Yeah, you can see Dentale really reaching now. 5 deuce.
Play
Play
good.
good, I would snap ball.
If he catches a 5, he could get himself in a lot of trouble here. Obviously, diamonds are good for him.
But I'm going to do it anyway.
Pot is
A
47.
5 would be such a sick card, yeah.
Pretty bad card for him. Instead, it's the ace. Ace doesn't change much, except Dentale now with a wheel draw. Canuli with the same wheel draw.
Question is who could rep an ace most credibly?
Do you know the answer? Is that a question?
No. I mean, it's probably easy. I don't know. Probably Blesnik could have an ace, but not when he checks the turn.
Instead, it checks through. And the river's another ace. Hearts get there as well. Can somebody represent hearts now?
But probably it's just going to get checked around.
Well,
And
Blesnik will win it.
Blesnik's going to win.
I threw aces full.
Never mind.
I told you if I played good, Jared, I would have snapped ball. I threw ace deuce. Did you hear me, Jared?
What?
I threw ace deuce. I told you if I played good, I would have.
I just don't understand why when Blesnik opens so often, he opens under the gun, Canuli could easily 3-bet here and take down this pot pre-flop.
Just ace is full.
Against a Blesnik who's just not really ever 4-betting. I guess maybe Canuli doesn't know that. He hasn't been playing with him throughout the day.
Well, Canuli's also, I mean, he's been fairly active. He's 3-bet.
That's the problem is with his image, he might get played back.
Yeah, I mean, we came back from dinner. I mean, remember Tom Canuli, who's a November 9er.
With the ace-9 hand.
Well, I mean, the ace-9 hand, he's 3-bet
3-bet a
probably
few times.
3 or 4 times since dinner.
I want you to remember that you told me that you showed me your hand before you get in this conversation. I'm not saying what
Thanks for joining us, Dan O'Brien. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody else who followed us via Twitch. Jamie Kerstetter.
He doesn't just forfeit his small blind. He's supposed to put a small blind.
Jamie Kerstetter says, showing Dentale a bluff is the most profitable play in all of poker. Better than flopping sets.
He can never figure it. Has no clue.
And you would have got called. All hit the flop. Everyone hit the
Hi,
flop.
Jamie. I am a Jamie Kerstetter fan, I gotta
All hit
say.
the flop and the one guy that won.
Am I supposed to bet the turn there or no? No, I can't, right?
I was supposed to snap ball 5-way
I
act.
can't bet the turn, can I?
Only game was going to turn their shit into a bluff anyway. 3 would have been a fun river. Wouldn't have been that fun, but it would have been pretty fun.
Straddled pot once again, so it's $25, $50, $100, $175 in the pot. There's no ante in this game.
I had the turn. You know the turn's supposed to be you, right? That's supposed to be you.
Siegel has played it the closest to the vest. Actually, that's a lie. Du McCallie actually has played it the closest to the vest.
McCallie, yeah.
McCallie has not gotten out of line once.
McCallie has not even been on the turn once. Has he even seen a turn?
Oh, his stats, like his online stats, would be like 7-3.
Yeah, he's incredibly tight.
Queen, Jack, Deuce, 2 hearts out there. Siegel with the best of it. Porter with a gut shot to Broadway.
Someone actually might have made a flush. 800.
But McKeon's the pre-flop raiser, and he's going to put pressure on everybody.
2 backdoor draws here.
800?
Yeah. There's like 12 in there. Is it okay?
perfect.
Hey, thanks.
Board texture, it's good. Perfect.
All right, cool. What should I bet on the turn if I bet?
Against Siegel?
Yeah.
8,000. 8,000. He's not going to call.
8,000 seems like a lot.
Tough spot to double barrel here from McKeon.
Are you betting 2,000?
1,500.
All right, you win.
Just
I would have
'cause he
called
said-
2.
Queen
Just 'cause
10.
he said.
Queen.
I couldn't beat that.
Queen 10.
Given how tight Siegel is pre-flop. Well,
Well, she's locked up.
not that tight actually.
She should just pick
See
up
betting the flop's fine with ace. Ace 7 there.
I think you misread that. Yeah. I'm going with you're wrong.
You guys want me to straddle or no?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm waiting on you.
You're going to tell me I'm
Why
not
do you think we
straddling?
didn't deal the hand until you came back?
I bought another 5.
That's yours.
Playing on 13.
He's playing better than you'd expect.
He probably had 0 expectations, so it's not really saying a lot.
You know, there's
Once again,
that
straddle
thing with
pot.
RFID, you know, like you can fool yourself by looking at the same card twice, but you can't fool the camera, right? They just know. So it's not like you can show them the same, and then they have to think, was that the spade 2 times or the heart 2 times? You know.
Siegel's opened up his game a little bit. No longer calling. Now he's raising, being a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, he has a premium hand in position. After
2 jack of spades, for instance.
You think so?
Yeah.
a distraught Dentale limps. And I think that it's something to notice that even players like Siegel might be aware of Dentale being a little loose and tilted and frustrated, and even Siegel's starting to bully him, perhaps. Could be what this is, too.
Man, for sure. 10-10-5.
Check.
Dentale outflops him, though.
Check.
Probably not going anywhere after he got this far with his pair of 5s.
Check.
Siegel.
Check.
Could be a
I don't-
little bit of a tell looking back at your cards, betting immediately. Depending
Yeah,
on which type of player it's from.
Mike's tilted.
Sorry, don't talk when I'm
Then Dentale is going to be check calling any non-club river here, I think.
Well, that's not. He's probably not going to call that one.
Wow. And
I was about to say, you can catch an ace, a queen, a club, or a 6, and there's the 6.
starting to get a little annoying.
he goes further down the frustration here.
There's many different forms of tilt.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. You know, some people tilt by
Get down. Play your game, I'll play mine.
spewing off money and getting really aggressive, overly aggressive.
You give me shit all day.
I don't give you shit when you're in a hand. When you're in a hand, I don't say a word.
While others, and this looks like Dentale's thing, actually become more passive.
Right.
He's almost just like calling his money off now.
And just becoming predictable ABC, kind of like not wanting to be too aggressive because he keeps losing, just waiting for that big spot, trying to convince himself that that's playing solid poker when in reality, just playing a little too loose overall.
Yeah, he won his money courtesy of 2 big hands. He had the 7-8 where he had the straight against McKeon, and he had kings versus jacks against Blesnik where he got it all in. And he was able, at one point he was up probably $13,000, $14,000.
He was the biggest winner.
Yeah.
And that's got to be frustrating to him too.
Yeah, it's been a tough go the last 30, 40 minutes. I don't necessarily think the ace-king fold was a bad fold. It just unfortunately, he got shown the bluff, and you could see it go to his head.
And then starting to reinforce that with each negative ping that happened to him
Yeah.
from that moment on, continuing with reinforcing, telling himself he got unlucky with this last hand.
When you're playing with somebody, when you're at the table, and I'm sure this has happened to you numerous times, and you notice that one of your opponents might be on tilt, might be emotionally off kilter, so to speak.
Right.
How do you exploit that?
I think you just got to hammer, and you got to just be super aggressive against them, and just make them pay for all the loose mistakes they're making. And I think, just 3-betting them and realizing that they're going to play very straightforward most of the time when they're a player like Dentale, who's going to just play passive and ABC, and he's not really going to get too creative
He
or
Fold
he's
it
just
to
going
the
to play
end.
really
If
straightforward. I
it's
think it's
folded,
great
it's
to be
in. If it's not, then
putting a lot of pressure on him and playing
They're not
pots
gonna
in
let you do
position.
that here technically, but all right, it's not folded.
Garlic Pepper joining the Twitch stream.
of it being folded to me.
Hello, Garlic.
Hey, Mediator, my site's being redone. I apologize for that. It should be back up later today or tomorrow at the latest. Thanks for your
No big
patience.
deal.
Yeah.
I had a
What we're doing already is
terrible hand.
See some new faces on the Twitch stream. Thank you guys for joining. David Tuckman here. And with
You're
me,
David Tuckman?
No,
Oh.
I said Alex Relly here with David Tuckman. I was trying to introduce you first, but I guess I did that wrong.
One good hand since I've been here.
I got very confused.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so did everybody else.
I was like, who am I?
And you got lucky to chop. You got lucky to chop it up. You shouldn't have slow played pre-flop. That was
I
your
was
problem.
dead on the turn, both turns, both times.
Well, you were dead on the flop one of the times, and you got out of that one.
Yeah.
Blesnik with another massive raise here, pre-flop.
I would have to take a shower. She probably smells better than all of us.
Yeah, and once again, look who it's against.
Great flop here for him.
Yeah, once again, I mean,
So hard for his opponent to have something.
Blesnik's one of those guys, and I don't hate on it. I think it's actually pretty good. He's playing the player, and I think he very early on recognized that he wanted to attack Siegel. Whether it was, I don't care what anybody at home thinks about it. He clearly said, "I'm going to go after the Siegel guy." And he's been doing it relentlessly.
And the guy to his left on me, McCallie. Absolutely.
McCallie just doesn't play enough hands to go after
Right,
him.
but in the beginning he was.
Yes.
He raises, Jared. What are you going to do now, buddy?
And finally, Siegel made his stand here.
It's on you, Jared.
And Siegel's game has completely changed.
Absolutely.
Since dinner.
Complete 180 since dinner. It might have thrown Jared for a loop.
Very long to break your own rule.
But then again, Jared has to be asking, Siegel plays so ABC, what hand could he possibly be raising
Yeah, he could
with?
check raise here with Queen Jack, though. We've seen that before.
It's like he's in position.
Yeah, but he does that. He did before. Remember,
I
he raised
know.
earlier with like sixes.
Find out where he's at. So it
Yeah.
makes it really hard for Jared to 3-bet bluff the flop here. But it's a spot where if he knows that Siegel could have sixes, he might do it.
No. Blesnik doesn't buy it.
Good for him.
And look at that.
Candy from a baby, huh, Jared? That was just.
Whatever you can do, I can do better.
We'll finish this hand up very quick.
I'm not showing the bluff.
You have a bluff. It's a bluff.
Can you show a bluff?
Zero.
He shouldn't show a
Can you
bluff
show
here.
one
I
You
don't
side?
think.
can't make him think you have a hand. You have a bluff.
Can you show one bad
You
card?
have a
If he
bluff.
has a card over a 10,
I saw it.
if he has a card over a 10, he
The problem is if that's a bet for.
If he had a card over a 10, he beat me.
I like the where Siegel's going. You know, I mean, I think Siegel's instincts are spot on.
Usually that's two
The
times.
problem is when he bets there on such a dry board.
Or when he raises there.
Right, I'm sorry, when he raises there on such a dry board.
What is he repping that limp called pre-flop that's strong enough to withstand a 3-bet?
Well, the problem is earlier on, too, we noticed that Siegel will raise to get for information.
Yeah.
So if Blesnik knows that, he goes, okay, well, you're raising to get information. I'll give you the information that you're beat.
Yeah, even if he's raising with Queen 10, he's just never going to call it off on the flop and then even on the turn and river.
You tanked a while and you folded and you just took my cards.
Great play by Blesnik. That's why I think Blesnik has great instincts.
Also, earlier on, do you remember when Glance turned the straight with King Jack?
Yes.
And Glance asked Siegel. Glance asked Siegel, said,
What
what
should
would
I
you do
do?
here?
Yeah.
And Siegel said, call. And then after Glance raised, Siegel berated him. He said, how can you raise with me nuts? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So then we go to this hand, Queen 3 Deuce Rainbow. Is there any way? And
He's never raising with a set.
That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you and I'm asking. He doesn't have 2 pair because he doesn't have Queen 3 or 3 Deuce or Queen Deuce. Is he ever raising with a set there?
No, never.
I didn't. I'm not gonna lie.
So what's the best hand he could have?
Yeah, I mean-
Queen Jack?
I mean, he could have limp called with ace queen, probably not. So I mean, king queen, but
Okay.
it gives so much room for Blesnik to just 3-bet the flop because he knows that his range is kind of capped at those middle of the mill, just sort of information raising hands.
Porter bets 1,200 with his flush draw.
That's true.
No matter how much you're flirting with us, she just keeps taking your money.
Great spot because if nobody has an ace, they're going to fold, and you're going to even get Baker probably to fold with 2 jacks here when you bet into the field.
actually being nice to being on your side.
Baker did not go anywhere, though.
10-7.
He did make the call.
He is only calling once here, though. That's for sure. I don't think he could ever call twice here.
I'm kind of surprised Baker called with all those players.
I
like
know.
that
I think
behind
that's a
him.
really too loose of a call.
But he is good with his jacks.
Very early in the day, you bet.
Porter did
And
not
if
pick up any more
Porter
equity.
is ever betting twice here, it's a really
I've been not flush drawn.
That's the only hand
Too
I
loose
can
of a
do.
call with jacks, I think.
Bet the flop.
And you really can't continue again here with jacks. I mean,
Wish you showed me his hand when he folds.
credit to Porter, too, for continuing through. If you're going to be betting the flop into 6 people, you have to have multiple bullets in the tank to make it effective. Even if your opponent has a weaker ace here in your Porter, you can still apply a lot of pressure.
Does it mean anything that Porter is just like casually having conversation with everybody and not even looking at Baker?
He was playing very tight the first round.
I don't know.
The game is out of control.
I don't think he's the type of player to give away too much
No, I'm
about his live
curious.
sort of reads, but I think he's better off with just a flop fold there, even though he knows that he might be folding the best hand some of the time. Sometimes the position is not such that you could take advantage of.
A couple people asking why Jason Somerville is not in this cash game. He doesn't actually live in upstate New York, and obviously Poker Night in America travels around the country. They'll be in Florida later this month. They'll be in Minnesota later this month as well. So, but good news about Jason Somerville is both he and Phil Hellmuth are on board to be analysts for the Poker Night in America tour. And that TV show will be early in 2016. Maria Ho and myself doing play-by-play. Players going on a quick, apparently 6-minute and 15-second break. We will as well.
Sure, you got it. I think Pocky Poker, the tournament, I think was $1,000 and had 400 and something runners. So
They're just changing.
pretty good event.
We have about 2 minutes right now.
How much, I can buy into the tournament, how much longer?
Yeah, sure.
Level 12? 8:30? So I have 6:30, another 2 hours? Okay, because I want to buy in just before, right?
I mean, not often. We don't live there.
What do you have?
No, he was never straight and a flush.
I like 5 minutes. Play on mine. I go to work out and fuck
I'm
around.
tilted right now.
He could never, you know that.
He has no clue what he said. I like him as everybody.
could
That's why
never
he's
call,
so stay quiet. He has no
stop.
clue. I mean, I
He
can't blame him
tanked for
because he has
10
no clue anyway.
minutes.
He's cool.
No, I'm at Turning Stone right now. I am here, staying at the hotel. It's my first time here. Pretty cool place. I've never been up to upstate New York, so I was in Manhattan though. I'm there part time, and so I just shot up here. It wasn't too far away. Hey Jimmy, I'm not sure if I'm going back to Macau anytime soon. I don't plan too far ahead, and I just go where my energy takes me. I know that I'm going to Florida. I'm going back to Manhattan after this, and I'm going to Florida for Poker Night in America.
It's a fold.
The other month.
But that was the best part of the
So
whole
look out for me there. And after that, I'm not sure.
It's a fold. I'm like,
Jared tells
okay,
somebody they
think.
overbet and everyone blows up. Squishy just tells Mike he's supposed to fold. Throw your hand away already, and nobody says a word. Who cares?
Well, it's weird because when he peeled his cards, I could see he had face cards. Like before he went all in, I didn't know his other
Meanwhile,
cards.
she stacked Jared 8
Matt.
times, and he lost.
You cannot be chopping the worst.
Well, take care. Good luck.
Yeah.
Matt,
I just want to have him in case I lose.
I mean, he tried to bluff you off.
1,000?
And like open, he 3-bet, there was a cold call, Sean Deep 4-bet, he 5-bet, Sean shoved. For like 10K. Yeah. This is within a straddle potty either. This is a regular hand. He folded pre. Sean showed ace king. Sean had ace king and there's ace.
If someone had 2, 3, 4, 5, I said I could.
Good to see you.
Last time I saw you were. That was what I said.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I said, well, if it opens to 410 rainbow, I got 8.
For these? I'm just putting them in my pocket right now. I have cash.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate that.
The
Games in
staple's
Macau
playing very
range from
large.
1K, 2K
They're playing
to
very big.
a lot bigger, 10K, 20K. So 20K, 40K. Just depends on what's running, you know.
I know you guys. I mean, I don't know.
The poker has been unreal since you left.
Well, you know what it is? Because
He's going to be able to.
Thanks, Rosabo. Appreciate that. I'm glad you guys like the hand of the day.
He said he's going to get his stack.
If you haven't already, go check out my YouTube, Alex Relly. I have a hand of the day video channel where I review all your guys' hands for free. you could send them to me via my blog, and we'll select the best ones and put them on my YouTube channel. And there's a lot of good free information there that I think has helped out some of you guys, so I'm really glad for that. And thank you for all your support. Really appreciate it. It wouldn't be possible without you guys, so thanks a lot.
Because I know it's not going to be tremendous. The bet could be tremendous. No, Rep was behind me too. And the bet could be tremendous. Makes a flush. You know what I mean?
The chatter fold, you know, it kind of fucks you up. I'm not going to blame anybody, but I wanted to call and I was upset at my phone. It does affect a little bit. It throws me off my game. I mean,
but I
still I'm aware to do what I want to do, but it just takes me off my game. Everything affects you a little bit. One thing is, I like the chatter and everything, but when you're making a decision, I think that should be the only time. You know, chatter and cool is everything, but when you're making a call.
Yeah, I would have got called in 2 spots in the river.
I made a fair.
But he got heat. I don't blame him. I got bored.
I live in LA. I'm from Boston.
Everybody.
Yeah, no, it's all
I didn't like being dealt. I don't think I've been dealt like a good hand this whole time, so I get bored every time.
Where's Daddy go now? What did he do in the machine? He put it all back? Now my nose.
Believe me,
I pretended against plans, and then he wants to
Oh, it'd be awesome. Yeah, Rosabelle, I'll definitely have some more travel videos coming. I'm actually in the process of redoing my website and also some different branding with my YouTube. So I think I'm going to make my current YouTube just about my hand of the day, and I should have another one coming soon where we have all different types of other poker and lifestyle related content. So look out for that. Definitely more travel and lifestyle content coming soon, both on my blog and my YouTube. So check out alexrelli.com or follow me along on Twitter at alexrelli, and I'll keep you guys posted on that for sure.
This is
Even for me, that's a
Yeah, but you still have to show that.
So they want you to put both here and then show your...
Everybody would eat your mic off. We just check everybody. Like, go out and like.
red, mine's green.
Thanks, Somerville Rules. Appreciate that.
Mine's all green.
You guys are nice. I'm lucky to have you as viewers. Thank you. It's cool. I love the positivity. It's what definitely keeps me going. So.
I'm new, so I'm gonna wait. You keep tweeting. I can just steal me in.
Yeah, I think we just take it out.
Samantha, let's go.
Streaming live on Twitch. Follow along at Poker Night in America. Check it out.
Well, you did not want to follow the moves she just made. I think she turned it off on purpose.
Yeah, I did turn it off.
You're allowed.
Did you go to the bathroom?
I did it
Your
with
straddle,
It's
Mike.
your strap.
Come on, I'm done with this strap.
like my phone.
Alright, he straddles.
Welcome back to Poker Night in America. We're back here for a 25-50 no-limit hold'em cash game, and Bart Hansen from Crush Live Poker has joined us. He's in seat number 2, so we lose Dew McCallie. Rhett Porter in seat 3 still, David Baker in seat 4, Jared Plesnick seat 5, Samantha Abernathy still away from the table, but she will be back very shortly.
It was very
Unprofessional.
Wow, what a big hand you must have here not to make that 500 or 600. Must have a monster.
Oh, you just by accident?
Or like the first battle.
And there she is.
We've gotten better at it.
Cannuli, one of 2 November Niners at this final at this cash game table here. So used to saying final table.
I know, right? It is the final table. There's only 9 players remaining.
Ryan Feldman in the Twitch chat. What's up, Ryan? How are you, buddy?
We're tipping the dealer first pod. So based on the first.
Thanks, Ashby.
Bart bought in for $10,000, by the way. So Cannuli 3 bets after Blesnick's open.
I mean, Blesnick is just trying to punish the table here. Cannuli actually wakes up with the hand here.
based on your seat number.
This card is.
I understand, but like this hand would have been.
Thanks, Rosabelle. Yeah, that was back in the day. Man, this is my 12th year as a poker player. 12 years. Feel like a dinosaur.
Everybody's been traveling. You don't have
It's like 90.
Everybody's been doing.
It's not 100. People
Pocky Poker says, I'm impressed by that Abernathy gal. She's a beast on the table. She's got heart, I tell you.
She has heart. Amen.
It's, you know, that big bluff with 6-8 was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So,
good for her. She got it through.
So yeah, this is what we were doing 3 years ago, except it was like 2-5.
good to see her back.
Here we are today.
And I like a raise here from Porter.
By the way, even if she wasn't back, she's lined up to play tomorrow too. So, This is, obviously she came here to play.
She did.
350, you said?
Yeah, sure.
That's a fair enough price for me to match.
You take my mozzarella sticks. What else do you want? Take my money.
We got a new player.
How you liking your commentary gig for the first day?
It's cool.
It's fun, right?
Yeah, I like it. It's cool to see it from a different perspective.
Oh, wow. Tough spot for Porter. Although, this is the one player that,
I know.
if you've been paying attention,
He hasn't been playing long enough to really know. And Siegel's opened up so much since the dinner break that he's not the Siegel we once knew.
yeah, I still don't know if he's 3-betting very wide.
That's true, but Porter doesn't have that history, and
Good
he has
point.
2 queens.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Siegel just moved all in.
Depends if you have a good hand.
I thought he made it 900.
Yeah, no, we're steps ahead though.
Oh, then there's a 4-bet from Porter.
Yeah, the graphics have not caught up to the
Well,
action.
now I think you could fold easily with the insta shove.
Raise, 3-bet, 4-bet, 5-bet shove. Is Siegel bluffing
Never.
or shoving worse than queen?
Never. Unless it's like 1K,
Ace king suited?
unless it's like 2K more. No, it's 8,000 here. This is like I think it's an insta fold. I think kings is. People ask about folding kings here. I think kings is a fold here.
This is the spot where you can fold kings.
I think you fold kings here.
Very different than earlier on against Sean Deeb.
Yeah, where kings was like the happiest insta call ever. It just goes to show how situational and player dependent every decision you make is. Heads up, pro. The stream will last another 3 hours at least. No, an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, okay. Never mind. I was wrong.
Yeah, don't commit us to more. We're back tomorrow. We got another full day. We've got another full day tomorrow and a full day on Monday as well.
Crazy.
When we do the final table of the tournament as well. So
You can't say what you think people exactly.
there's a beer with my name on it somewhere in this.
And there's a glass of
Turning
wine
Stone.
with my name on it.
Yes, more than one maybe.
So I think this is an insta fold here with the queens. I just don't think.
But to your point, I mean,
Siegel
you said
has any other hand.
Porter doesn't have the information that we necessarily have.
Right.
But I tend to agree, and there's the call. There's the frustrating call.
Even without the information, the insta shove from the
confident all in without even pushing the chips in.
confident guy that's
You got a pair
with his demeanor, it's just
10 high flop, neither player with a spade in their hand. Spades are irrelevant at this point. Only a queen
Got a spade?
will win the pot for Porter. And there it is, queen of diamonds. Are they running it more than once?
What the fuck are we waiting for?
Apparently not.
This is all we can be quiet for.
And there's a double up for Rep Porter and a tough way for Siegel. Kind of waiting for that spot, waiting for that hand. How frustrating is that as a poker player when you wait for a spot like that, you finally, you patiently wait, you get the spot you're looking for, and then it goes like that way.
absolutely. I mean, it's something that is. It's something that you try and set up all night, and then when you get it in the spot you want it to get in, and then it doesn't go your way, it feels really frustrating. The challenge is really to try and not to give into that and not to lend that energy, because then you're just reinforcing the negativity, and it's hard to get out of that rut. So by staying in that and constantly thinking in this spot, constantly telling yourself how unlucky you get or how unfortunate it is or how bad you run or whatever, just keeps cementing that.
Siegel buys in for another $5,000, so he's now in for $18,000.
Wrong fucking guy. You're playing with the wrong fucking guy.
100% aces in that spot?
You're playing with the wrong fucking guy.
Snowball, sorry about my site. It's being redone. And it's unfortunate timing. It's being redone when you guys are on here. I'd love to have it up for you guys, but it should be up later today or tomorrow, so thanks for your patience. And I appreciate you guys checking that new site out. I'm really excited about it, so I'd like your feedback as well. Definitely keep me posted. Reach out to me on social media at Alex Raleigh on Twitter, or follow Alex Raleigh on YouTube. I have some great content there for you guys as well. And I'm always accessible, so hit me up.
He's a solid player.
Depends on what.
Abernathy opening up. 6-8 offsuit she likes. This time she's got 8-6 suited.
We're not saying he's right or wrong.
Canuli, 3 bets.
Fucking clown. Fucking jacks. You're a clown. I mean, let's be honest. That hand really epitomizes Rep's poker career. Just puts it in when he's like in horrible states, and then comes out smelling like a rose. It's Rep's poker career.
All the Paul Volpes and the
Just kidding. Just giving Rep crap because he just won a 20,000 5%er.
Good read, Jacks. Good fucking Jacks.
It was only 22,000 5%er.
I mean, it sounds a lot like it's like a one-hand range, the way Mike's talking, like he couldn't even have kings there. Could you have kings there?
I think Abernathy could get herself in trouble if she continues to play out of position against McKeon and Canuli. Two players that obviously playing very good poker, both very confident in their ability, and they have position on her.
Absolutely. Good at hand reading,
Abernathy does,
too.
yeah, exactly.
And they kind of have maybe figured out her game by now. And that's problematic, too, if they're not going to be giving her
I
credit.
understand you want number one, but sometimes
Whereas
you have to-
before, she kind of had a tight image, I feel like, in the beginning. Or at least
Well,
thought
correct
she
or-
would be tight because she just has that quiet, shy demeanor.
Well, I was going to say,
as
correct or
well.
not,
Yeah.
most guys will sit down at the poker table, and if they see a younger girl, they'll assume she's pretty tight.
Exactly.
Unless she gives a reason for them not to. And she's given every reason to not to. She showed 4-3 of diamonds. She showed the 8-6 offsuit. So she showed that she likes to mix it up.
10-6 of clubs all in pre-flop.
Which is why Canuli is now 3-better 3 times.
Right. That being said, she still doesn't fold to 3-bets, so you got to have a plan post-flop and know she's going to defend, but she's not going to flop a big enough hand often enough.
Yeah. Most times she's going to miss this flop and she's going to go check fold.
Exactly. Credit to Canuli for playing the player and the situation, not the cards.
When I used to play Limit Hold'em online, like I hacked the program so the fold button wasn't on my screen.
I don't know if he's ever getting a better hand to fold than 2 pair. He's got kings and 4s. My guess is he checks it back.
He's getting an 8 to fold, maybe. Never getting a king to fold. A pocket pair better than an 8.
He checked back the flop, though. What's he repping?
Does this look like online to you? I'm very curious.
When he checks back the flop?
Yeah. I mean, he could have a king.
I'm not an online kid.
Balanced players will check back a king here. He never
Fair
has a flush, though. So when he bets the river, if I'm Abernathy, I kind of want to
Well, Sean's not here to make a comment.
check raise. The only thing is Abernathy doesn't have too many strong hands in her range here, given how she played the hand. So it makes it tough for her to check raise here on a bluff. That being said, I think she might turn her hand into a bluff here.
I don't know how many flush draws she has either, though. Would
She-
she ever value bet like jacks here? 10, something like that?
Maybe, because she check called the flop, she check flop, and she checked the turn.
Right.
And I don't think she has too many strong hands in her range here. She never really has a king. Flush draw would have bet the turn.
And you talk about your common ground. And if you don't have a huge amount
She's
of
gonna
common
call.
ground,
Yeah.
or you're getting to know somebody,
He bet 2,700, and she looks him up. Another pot there for
I don't
Abernathy.
really understand
so I went to his ground to talk with him
Always
about
making the
his bet. I guess he wants to protect his equity on the turn against 2 overcards or an 8 coming, which is fine. And then on the river, he's trying to get her to fold, but
those of you who have
she always has a bluff catcher. The problem is she's just not the player to fold it, really.
Learning in English and all that.
Middle pair.
We'll take a look at the chip counts here. Rep Porter up to 26,000. He bought in for 10, so he's already up $16,000. Abernathy is in this game for 10K, so she's up 15K. Having a great day now. What a good turnaround for her. Canuli bought in for 20. He's down 1,000. McKeon in for 10.
He was up 8 though, so he's on a 10K downswing.
Blesnik is in the game for 20,000. No, sorry, 23,000.
Right. And where was the other huge turnaround? Dentale, who was in for 5K, ran it up to 15.
Actually ran up to almost 19.
Ran it up to 19, was the biggest winner before the dinner break, and now he's back down to even, right? Or a little below even.
I didn't get down that far on the list.
So a lot of swings here going on.
Are you not?
Well, I mean, I just didn't say it.
11.
That's such a good race. That's such a good race.
I mean, the funny thing is,
Tom, the 300 to 11.
1100.
Tom with the.
I agree with you. I don't think you were going to get her to fold a lot of hands there, which is one of the reasons why I think it's a great spot to value bet like
jacks maybe, like you said.
Oh, tens, jacks,
Which
queens.
he could have. He could check back the flop with jacks and then bet the turn with it
Yeah.
on the king XX board.
To be honest with you, I think if I had jacks, I'd probably play it almost that exact same way.
Yeah, I might try. Yeah, exactly. I might be even encouraging a check raise bluff with jacks just because she never really has you beat.
You won the bigger one, though.
Yeah, you might almost be betting and then planning on calling a check raise if she gets out of line.
I check raise them.
Oh yeah, I mean I think she's betting the flush draws on the turn a lot.
Exactly, and she's betting the king too, so she doesn't really have anything except bluff catchers, unless she hit nines full on the river, which nines would bet the turn too. So she doesn't really have
Abernathy
much.
bets 850. And
Blesnik actually has a hand here, but Abernathy never really 3-bets. Even though she's super loose pre-flop, she's the type of player just to call. So when she 3-bets, it just seems like she has something.
yeah, earlier on, remember she only flatted with ace king of hearts at a 4-bet.
Right. She just doesn't show aggression.
Turns to 9, 10s are still in the lead.
That being said, Blesnik does have a decent hand.
How good is your ace queen look right now though on that flop?
For him though, compared to the normal hands he actually has, he's probably thinking, well, I actually have something now, I got to call, as opposed to just defining the situation for what it is. But when she bets again the turn here, he's got to check fold now. I mean, it's
That orange chip, by the way, that is 1,000.
never good here.
The orange chip is 1,000. The purple chip in front of it is 500. Those black chips are 100 each. She bets 1850. She shows the 10s and wins it.
Yeah. 8-6 is straight right now.
Everything going Samantha's way. It's her world. We just live in it.
Good for her. The river was an ace too. Oh no, different hand. Oh,
It's a bad habit.
thought they were rabbit hunting.
They might have. I
You
don't
saw
know.
graphics. No, that's a different
Stop
flop.
saying sorry to me. You just said, I know, I'm sorry.
It's a bad habit.
No, I'm sorry.
I know it's.
If you found us via Twitch, welcome. We're back here tomorrow for more poker and Monday as well. So 2 more days of poker after today. We're up in Turning Stone. Beautiful Verona, New York. Alex Torelli, David Tuckman in the quote-unquote commentary booth. Torelli, by the way, slated to play tomorrow.
Should be doing half alternate, half commentating, half playing, which will be
You'll get in
interesting.
there. You'll get in there for sure.
Chips move around fast enough.
At this rate, I can't like go back on it now. I'm in the top 4. I can't get out of the top 4. I'll be way too sad. Now that you have all the money, I have to be in the
Once
top.
again, a straddle pot.
Siegel,
I said 900.
900. Just do me a favor. I'm telling you.
You ever see me steaming a lot?
No, but do me a favor. Siegel, just take a deep breath and relax.
Bro, do you
No,
ever see
don't
me
listen to
steaming?
him.
You've seen me stuck
You don't-
50,000.
I
You
know
ever
that.
see me steam?
Jared, the action's on you, buddy.
Just don't want you to
Tentali opens. Siegel 3-bets, this time with queens.
take a deep breath and relax.
He doesn't want you to play bad. I think that means he wants you to play what you think is good. So.
Just for the record.
Oh, I got Tommy to laugh.
He's in a hand. I'm not listening.
I got Tommy to laugh.
And Tentali's going to call this. He's kind of stayed out of the fray the last 20 minutes or
Right.
so, which I think is probably a smart move for him.
Right. But then he calls a 3-betting. It's the tightest player at the table, out of position.
But maybe Siegel's, we can see the cards, but maybe
Right.
Siegel's tilting. He just lost with aces.
That's true.
Possibly.
And I think, yeah.
But that's 7. Yeah, well, that's.
Kajil's tank
But you can
says,
see Tentale is still tilting too with how he's folding his hand here. That's what we talked about earlier, folding really quickly just kind of reinforces that energy that you're staying in. It's hard to get out of it.
take a look at the current buy-in. The buy-in, how much money they have in front of them, and whether they are up or down. So our big winner, Rep Porter, Samantha Abernathy, and Dentali, who you mentioned earlier on, now still up. He's still up $4,800, but as you mentioned, he was up $14,000 earlier. Sometimes that can be more tilting than anything else when you're up a lot and now you're only up a little. Joe McKeon now down $2,800 actually, so he's actually in for 20. I thought he was only in for 10.
No, they asked 2 people.
It just goes to show you that even if you're winning, you could still be mentally more tilted than you were if you were losing a little bit or even simply because of your perception of your session is that you should be winning more or that you did something wrong or that you're frustrated. And it just goes to show you winning or losing doesn't really affect, it shouldn't really affect your overall state because it's just a perception of your own reality, and you could just arbitrarily define when the time frame is, whether you're winning or losing.
KJ Lee Tang asks, he says, I want to play in this game. How can I get on this game? And I said, very simply, you can qualify on 888. They've got, I know they qualify at least one person for every cash game. So
Yep.
I know
888.
I know Dominic Christian is actually going to play tomorrow. And he qualified on 888 to play on this.
One of the sponsors here, too, at Poker Night in America.
Yep. Along with Giant Sunflowers.
And DraftKings and Crush Live Poker.
Not a card.
There you go.
That was the one I didn't look at. I mean, I looked at this one. So I
I've never had Giant Sunflowers, but I want them now.
Yeah, I do too now.
That card was
Cool logo, too.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
I want a shirt. I want a Giant Sunflower T-shirt.
Yeah, I know, right?
And a hat. Somebody make that happen.
I figured after
Our sponsor, right? I mean, they got to make that happen, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially for the people in the booth.
I'm a big T-shirt and hat guy, so I'd be all over that.
had a hand to play with.
Well, that's up to you.
And I folded. So I figured I could show you one.
Yeah, but I was doing against him, not you. You weren't supposed to have a hand. You were just supposed to fold. And David made the
One of my
worst
followers
call
sent me an awesome
of his
T-shirt
life.
from
I made a
500
really
level. They
tight
do
call instead of
really
a
cool
raise.
poker. They do cool celebrity T-shirts. Really awesome company.
He switches
We've
every
been
half
switching,
hour,
right?
buddy.
Yeah, with one other dealer. Otherwise.
We've been switching all night?
Yes, Mikey.
That's why we tip every time
I
the dealer
understand
comes in.
why.
Mikey, we haven't
Every
paid
time
the
they
tip.
come forward, he was the
Can
only
you get
dealer in the
Ben?
box.
No.
Deal?
I understand that.
Have him deal here. Why not?
Two dealers.
I think Jill in the box.
He deals well, so I mean that's all that matters.
Jill's just the deal.
Get a Vu, too. And get Vu and Brooke. He's good.
Jimmy Bluffett says, Tuckman, I want a Tasty Steaks T-shirt. Can you please get one? I can make that happen, sir. Tweet at me. You can tweet at me at Tuck on Sports, and I'll make that happen for you. McKeon raising to 350.
I like the big raise from early position. You should be raising big from early position because he doesn't have that many hands to raise with in the first place. So anytime you're signifying strength, you want to be betting bigger.
King, King, 3, Rainbow.
A C-bet should win this pot here. He's always
Yeah, it
C-betting
will.
here.
Blame you.
I don't know. Baker called with 10-9 offsuit preflop. He's got to have a plan other than flopping his equity because, let's face it, McKeon raised under the gun. You can't be calling to just flop a pair.
No,
I mean, it's just not going to happen enough at the time.
I
So
don't have a 3-beat yet.
maybe even floating on a board like that would be prudent. See what
When I
happens.
started playing poker, it was really good.
No, right when I got into it, it was really good. Then Black Friday happened.
Seems pretty good for all of them right now.
You were still wearing diapers during
You guys
Black
are
Friday?
lucky. You guys are really lucky, seriously. You made it. This is harder. Poker is
I was in 21 by the time. Black Friday.
Ryan Feldman saying, what was McKeon's big hand that he won? Missed it. I don't think he had like a one big hand. Did
No,
he?
just some well-timed 3-bets and just some
He
post-flop
4-bet
aggression.
with queens and got called. There was a raise by Abernathy, a 3-bet by Canuli. He 4-bet with queens, got called in both spots, and then just won on the flop.
Right.
I mean, that was, he ended up winning like $6,000 in that
Yeah,
hand.
but it wasn't.
It didn't go past the
Didn't go
flop.
past the flop, and he hasn't really been in big showdowns on the river except when early in the match he had ace king, but he was value betting and ran into a river straight.
I heard
So-
that you messed. You played my buddy Malad on there, like
Where?
on Officer on
370-40?
on party. He won like 20 or 30
Yeah,
buy-ins or something.
It's my account, but it's not me. He thinks it's me. That's why it's not me.
It's your friend or something.
Yeah, it's not me. No, my friend, he told me he can't be.
Go ahead, Jared.
Hansen raising to 375.
No, it's actually not me.
Blesnick just loves to play his button.
No, it's not me. It's not.
Doesn't give it up lightly. He calls.
That would be honest. But yeah, my friend said that he can't be. Yeah, it's my account, but it's not me.
McKeon and Siegel call as well.
I like 3-betting here a little more than calling with that hand against this player. I think 3-bet's going to win a lot of the time pre-flop.
9 deuce deuce, good flop for Hansen. Both he and McKeon flop top pair. Hansen's got him out flopped. Funny because Blesnick has actually 3-bet with King 5 a couple of times.
Right.
I think he's a little bit he's not sure of what to make of Bart yet. He doesn't know how Bart plays, and I think if that was Siegel opening, he definitely would have 3-bet.
Absolutely. Or the player there before.
Or like let's say Siegel had called.
Yeah, exactly. The dead money in the middle.
Right.
But without the lead with King 5, it's really hard to win. The lead just makes your range so much stronger than your opponent's.
I think we just got a raise here from Blesnick, though, which I I don't. Once again, I don't know what he's repping.
Yeah, I think he's getting 3-bet here all day.
What do you do if you're barred here? Because you get raised from Blesnik, and then McKeon calls. Now McKeon knows that Blesnik just isn't repping much, but it goes back to Hansen. What do you do if you're in his spot?
I fold if I'm McKeon all day.
You still got to worry about Hansen.
Yeah, and Hansen should be like 3-betting the flop always, I think.
Now McKeon called out of the straddle.
And he never has a... I mean, I guess he could have 2 suited deuce combos.
Well, yeah, I mean, ace deuce,
but
king deuce, queen deuce type things. I mean, you never know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, out of the straddle. Blesnik actually picks up some equity here, a little bit more, besides just the king. Hansen, by the way, would have turned a flush draw as well, but he is out of there. Goes check, check.
Nice.
You see Hansen in seat 2 put his hands up in frustration.
I got the best hand to fold with the call.
No, you didn't have that beat.
I guess the overcall is one of those plays where
The reaction, I think he did.
he is planning on check folding to a turn bet, knowing that his opponent is never going to bluff the turn again because his overcalling range is strong enough.
Right.
But I don't know if there's enough deuces in his range there to justify overcalling with a 9, a weak 9 like that.
I mean, hey,
especially with the original raiser in the pot behind you, who might just 3-bet
his
it.
call, I mean, if his call can scare Bart enough to fold a better hand,
I have a
though.
lot of dudes.
An overpair.
I have a lot of
Yeah, in that case, it was queen 9. But yeah, I mean,
but if you
queen
had 2
9 and
jacks-
pocket jacks in the same hand, basically,
Right.
right? And if you can get your opponent to fold that hand, then
I like queen 9 more than 2 jacks because you block 2 9s.
great, good point.
So
Are you surprised that Hansen folded?
Just raise the white play.
What do you think of
what
what kind of play do you think that was?
That was
No.
a horrendous play. You just
But I think if he thought about it more, he would be like, well, it's obvious the button doesn't have anything, and what the hell's the guy overcalling with in the big blind? I mean, the guy in the big blind could have like ace 9 too and overcall, but then fold to a 3-bet. And I think that
You're not moving it on turn by that.
letting your opponent overcall there with a 9 means that you shouldn't have the image to let your opponent overcall there with a 9. They shouldn't be able to overcall with a 9 there with you in the pot, I think. You know?
Take a look at the chip counts here. So Porter has the most money on the table. A lot of money on this table now. We're start looking at it.
Unless we can get an extension.
47,
2 hours.
well over $100,000 on the table.
He's really good in PLO or what?
Yeah, dude, he is really. Like,
Alec Torelli, David Tuckman.
he's really good. He's one of the best.
If he wanted to get really creative, he could have just called the flop and repped an overpair later in the hand, even if he had like ace jack. He could just call the flop too. And
You're talking about Blesnik.
No, the guy with queen 9. Like if he had ace
Oh, just
jack,
call,
he
yeah.
could just call the flop,
No limit.
and then when it goes check, check, check on the turn, he could just bet the river.
The PLO, I don't know. but
It's
no
kind of
limit
creative,
PLO
but I might just call the flop too.
in Jersey, those regs are good. Very, very
Hansen
good.
raising. Straddled pot, so he makes it 300.
I was playing Brian Lee,
Brian,
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, they're both really good.
Tom Brady's good.
That Mikey behind me. I know he's
I
coming
get,
in.
he's crushed.
I told you the best.
McKeon and Dentale call.
What's his name? I met the guy. What's the big guy?
And McKeon flops the stone nuts.
Yeah, Fat Dan is good, yeah.
Hold him.
Not exactly the flop you're looking for when you raise with 2 6s.
Player that I played.
I killed him. I asked him.
And Dentale now
Watch what he's
with the same straight.
He's not a net either. He's really like crazy. No, I know he is. I know he is. But I'm saying for no limit. Yeah, hold it.
I'm not saying that I am, but I think that was pretty clear.
He's got your back over there.
But I don't know. All I know is I'm still waiting to get my first.
I mean,
I think you should see a very small raise by McQueen here.
I
Yeah.
don't even want to play you, to be honest.
I don't think he ever needs to be raising bigger than min here.
What's the point of playing a guy like you? Yeah, no, you.
Just a little bit. I do get the extra one, which is justice.
We're at Turning Stone Resort and Casino playing 25-50, no limit hold'em.
Well, I was also out of my
I give them boys credit though back home. For sure.
Button slides in front of one of the November Niners. That's Canuli, Tom Canuli, who's currently 6th in chips for the World Series of Poker main event. Player on his left is the overwhelming chip leader,
What's the
Joe
matter? We don't
McKeon.
do straddle around. We're just doing straddles wherever.
No, we're straddling. It's my straddle.
We've been straddling, everyone's straddling. There's only an hour left. We're not straddling now, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime we're ready to start anteing, that's fine too.
I'm in. Let's go. $200 ante for the button. Is that how we do it? 300. 300 ante on the button? Oh, you mean the bet. 300 ante would be pretty good though.
Blaznik raising.
Can you stop calling me C5?
14.
Canuli just calls on the button. I think that
13, I'm gonna call.
Did you see my hand, Joe?
I think you should, don't even bother.
Yes, I did.
I don't know.
I didn't. That's how you're going to fold.
Canuli's going to call.
Awesome.
I just had 7 people blowing up my phone.
And this is really interesting because they're both at the final table of the main event. You have to wonder.
Canuli's outflopped him, although
He's setting it
McKeon's.
up.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's got to be a little bit of that. There's got to be a little bit of that.
Does he want to show him that he's a little crazy, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, would you invest $4,000 in a hand to learn a ton about an opponent that you're playing against for millions later on?
For $4 million, exactly.
Yeah. McKeon with the overcards plus the flush draw.
Or just to make him think that you're a different type of player than you are. Really interesting.
I mean, if you're calling with 4 deuce of clubs, you're never folding on this.
No, absolutely not. I mean, your opponent could have ace king. I mean,
Sure enough, he does call this pot now, 6,700. Turn pairs the board. What's the play if you're McKeon? I mean, you still have a ton of equity.
you got to bet.
You're just going to keep barreling?
Your other ace kings should shut down, like your ace king offsuit, but your ace king of hearts has got to bet because you don't have that many bluffs in your range when you're betting the turn here, and you have overpairs a lot, and your range just smashes your opponents. So I think you got to bet it here again.
Well, instead it goes check, check, and Canuli's going to end up winning this pot.
Yeah, McKeon has a really tough time repping a big hand on the river here, and I think when he shoots him a look to on the turn, it's a pretty big sign of weakness. Just goes to show how important position really is.
I'm going to throw something at you and our audience. Under normal circumstances, I don't think I'm betting the 4 deuce there on the river.
Uh-huh.
But I think Canuli knows he has the best hand there a ton.
Yeah.
I might bet it just to kind of throw something in there like, hey, I can value bet super ridiculously thin, kind of weird play. Just to kind of maybe a little bit of a metagame. I don't know.
Might be a great play, especially, and that's a good observation. You have some really good points, especially given that they're going to be playing at the final table of the main event. You might just get into your opponent's head a little bit, and then he might just not know what to do against you in a bigger pot later on when it counts a lot more. Especially with the speed and timing of his check, he kind of gave it away that he wasn't considering. I mean, the thing is, he could have 2 10s still, but
he definitely could.
But I mean, it's just so much. It's pretty unlikely.
Like I said, I mean,
ace king is so much more likely there.
You don't think you're going to get called by worse, you know, and you're probably. I don't know if you're ever going to get 10s to fold. Probably not.
But maybe he wanted him to see that he had 4 deuce, so that's why he checked.
Maybe that might be another point.
You know, it feels like with some of Canuli's pre-flop play here that he does have a plan for his image.
Yeah, for sure.
Calling with 10-5, calling with 4 deuce.
By the way, Blaznik just called with ace king and gets out flopped. Porter with top pair.
Yeah, deuce 4 he had. I laid down H-back.
Never going anywhere now that he just flat called pre-flop.
You won last pot, right?
Yeah. Oh, you won the pot?
So likely that Porter C-bets.
Is this a tip pot?
Wow, massive turn.
Yeah, that's a massive turn here. Blesnik picks up a gut shot to Broadway plus the flush draw. He obviously can also catch an ace or a king.
I think it was a 5.
He's got 39% equity. You can see the percentages next to the players' names.
The 5 pair?
No, I'm pretty sure it was a 5. Yeah, and then the turn was, I think it was a 5.
Yeah, so 5 is,
All right, Jared,
you owe
you
55.
Last time was the tip out, Jared, and the 5 was the first card. Didn't realize right off the bat.
900.
Porter's going to check call with the queen 10.
Porter's played really well so far.
But you didn't like. Oh, look at that.
Wow, what a brutal card.
Yeah, Porter hits trip 10s. Blesnik goes backdoor hearts here.
Now that hand's in.
I really don't like leading out here.
Now
He never has a bluff in his range, so when
I don't
he
mind
leads-
leading out if you fold to a bluff. If fold to a raise.
Yeah. The thing is that though, when you lead here, you never have a bluff. So, and you never really have a full house either.
Right.
So your opponent could play pretty easily against you by folding worse hands than 10s and raising anything that beats a 10. Because a 10 is just so likely what you actually have, and you never want to make it seem like you have what you do. Blesnik goes all in.
And he's a good enough player to notice exactly what you noticed.
Yeah.
That Porter never has a bluff, but also never has a full house.
Big mistake leading.
I really kind of.
It's one of those weird kind of like leveling wars where if Porter knows that Blesnik knows that he can't be nutted, could he be bluffing? Could he turn his hand into a bluff?
Right, and Porter might level himself in the calling, but that's why you kind of don't lead here in this spot, because you're just letting your opponent outplay you.
Okay.
You're in a spot where you don't really know what the right decision is, where if you check, you can evaluate the situation a little easier.
I can buy that. There's the call. Blesnik's going to get paid off.
Or you lose 1 bet instead of 2 when you check call. It's a tough fold against Blesnik, who is a capable player, like you just mentioned. You spilled it out really well.
Around 5.
Verona, he never has a full house because he would never check call the turn with 2 pair or a set.
He's not going to take that line. He's not taking a line of...
He never check calls the turn with 2 pair or a set and then leads the river. He would either check call the turn with 2 pair or a set, which almost never happens, and then he would check raise the river.
He also bet the flop.
Yeah. Yeah, he just never has a full house there.
Ryan Feldman asked on the Twitch stream. Ryan's a good guy, works for ESPN, does NBA stats for them and
awesome.
everything. Yeah, plays poker a lot. And
awesome.
I had him on the stream this summer at the World Series of Poker. He asked me what my predictions were for the November 9. I'm not going to go through all 9, but I will say my pick to win. If somebody were to say, "Hey, who's going to win?" I'm going to go with Joe McKeon. I'm not stupid. I'll take the guy who has
mathematically.
30. Right.
You
I'll
pick
take the
pocket
guy.
aces pre-flop because it's the best hand.
Yeah, I'll take the guy who has 35% of the chips in play. That said,
he's also a shark.
I am probably he's a great player.
I have my pick too. I'd like to.
I am actually going to put money.
Yeah.
Because I know you can bet on it, especially in Vegas. I'm going to put money on if the price is good. I like Max Steinberg.
Me too. Amen. I'm putting a lot of money on Steinberg.
Not only
a lot of money on Steinberg.
Not only do I think Steinberg, and this is no slight against the other players.
Yeah.
They're obviously very good. Not only do I think Max Steinberg is the best player at the table.
Yeah.
I think he has a great support team. I think his brother Danny is going to help him prepare. And I think if you give that guy 4 months to prepare for this November 9,
he's going to be an absolute assassin.
He also has chips. He's 4th in chips. He's got 20 million, so he's in good position. The only thing going against him is his seat spot. He's got Joe on his left.
Yep.
But that's in terms of like betting value.
Oh my God, absolutely. I don't think it's even close.
I think Max is like, you can get like 7-1 right now.
Yeah, I'm probably going to bet a lot of money on Max. I just didn't even know that. He's also super sharp mentally. He just is like studying all the time and doing like meditation and stuff. He's just completely in the zone. And I just think he's going to be really hard to beat. Similar to Jacobson, who just came in like an absolute crusher.
Saying that, knowing Max as well as I do, it wouldn't shock me if he got knocked out in 9th or 8th either.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, I don't think he's going to play to ladder up.
Yeah, but you're betting on him for the win, which is a great bet if he has the ability to, all in, or, win or bust. We got a big hand here.
Learn from them for the final table.
Thanks.
So open from Abernathy, who's kind of stepped back a little bit. Cannuli raising. Now, Cannuli, by the way, has 3-bet her relentlessly, usually with garbage. This time he's got the goods. McKeon has obviously recognized that because this dynamic has happened before.
Yep. And this is what I was hoping we would see from McKeon, who's picking up on the other players, picking up on weakness. But now Cannuli can easily get into a leveling game and say, well, this guy knows I'm always light here. I can't fold this time. And in fact, he doesn't.
Well, no, I mean, Jack's at the top. I mean,
right.
Compared to the hands he's been 3-betting her with, Jack's is just at the absolute top of his range.
Yeah.
When you talk about poker for this length of time and you sit here and watch, how excited are you to sit down and play?
Yeah, it's like
you want to work on the stuff you're playing on, right?
Yeah, it's like teasing watching the poker. You know, of course you want to play.
McKeon bets 3,000.
Cannuli is definitely check calling once.
It's about half the pot, just like last time.
Great bet.
Well, thank you.
Great bet.
Last time you only bet like 40% of the pot.
No, it was about the same. It was like 8,100.
I really want to see if McKeon kind of will he empty the gun?
I don't know. I don't know.
Check.
No.
I just don't like checking so quickly on the turn here with McKeon. It just, he didn't even think about betting. And if he had 2 aces, he would think about betting here.
Can he rep now, though? Because he may check back.
Yeah, I mean,
he may check back 2 aces with the ace of diamonds. He may check back. I'm wondering, would he check back the ace of diamonds if he didn't have a pair?
Yeah, maybe. I just don't like the speed at which he checked. It just kind of makes it seem like he would think about betting that on the turn, right?
I could buy that.
I just don't like that he just checked so quickly. It just kind of makes his range look weaker.
By the way, remember earlier on we were talking, we were kind of surprised that November Niners would play on this form.
Yeah.
So other November Niners could watch. P. Chan, one of the November Niners.
Who's P. Chan? No, where? I mean, where?
Oh, he's hanging out with Ryan Feldman.
Oh,
they're hanging out watching this.
Okay.
He's one of the November Niners.
Yeah.
He's watching this.
Oh, okay.
Right now.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out where you were alluding to where he was. Oh yeah, of course he's watching. I mean, he should be. Smart man, P. Chan. Good for you. P. Chan, by the way, someone I know knows you. I gotta figure out.
That's awesome.
I went out with them.
That's
in
a
New York
great
City
story.
the
That's
other day.
that's
I know
an
that
awesome
was
story.
stupid, but I just got
somebody you
excited
know
that-
knows me.
Hang on.
He's playing on 40.
I'm saying the money went here and then it went there.
Redistributed my wealth.
That's my point.
McKeon putting Cannuli to the test.
You almost have to bluff with the bottom of your range here.
Wow. Thought I had a different hand.
Sick. You gonna raise? Can I sweat? Yeah, you can turn your cards over too if you want. Oh wow. You thought you got the diamond?
Definitely.
What happened here? Your hand is good, by the way. Your hand is good.
One thing you shouldn't do.
It's 5 kings, I'm telling you.
Good bluff. I can't really do anything.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to bluff. It's like if I have a diamond, you're supposed to ship it on.
I think with a 7K bet though, did they get the graphics wrong?
That's how much you won.
No, but I mean the 9. It was a diamond.
It was a diamond, yes.
Okay. So I think with the 7K bet,
No, I'm not. If I was bluffing, it's suicidal.
his range is a little polarized. Like I don't think that he's value betting a 10 of diamonds.
You think it's Jack or the ace only?
Maybe. Well, if I had it, yeah.
Yeah, because you have to wonder what hands could Cannuli call with that's worse.
Well,
Like,
I
what
mean,
hands are in
unless
his
you
range?
can get into a leveling war and be like, okay, well,
10-5?
It's a tough spot to know
I
like,
wanted the hero
how
comment.
thin he's value betting. Yeah,
We're probably done, yeah.
but he could have the ace of diamonds. Kind of, so.
That's not having it though. But it's such a
I wouldn't have taken a long time to call you if that is.
No, when you wouldn't turn it up.
This is Strata,
I'll
right?
show you if I beat you.
Yeah, I thought it was ace. Yeah, I thought we were just any.
That would have been a good thing to say with aces.
Tommy, I'll tell you this. My other card was red.
Your other card was red?
Miss Abernathy, if we ordered white wine.
by the way, if you're McKeon,
Yeah,
you've already got a massive chip lead,
So no, you're not.
and now you just owned into the November Niners.
yeah.
How good are you feeling?
You're feeling pretty good, especially because you bluffed him on the river too, and it
That's what
got
I mean.
through.
Right.
Yeah, you're feeling pretty good.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you might have called a hand like
Oh, wait, are you guys like
without. It was so hard for me to have a diamond. So
him and his wife and what else are hanging out?
Everything going right.
Siegel with the best of it right now.
Why does it feel like it's been oh,
Pair of threes here for Siegel.
4 p.m. So it's even earlier.
Pacific goes the other way.
But I did take a red eye. I took a red eye.
McKeon bets 1,050. Backdoor spades. He's got a gut shot.
3,000.
The 1K, I was guest paying today.
And Siegel's going to raise.
Yeah, actually, you probably can still sign up for it right now. Yeah, you got another.
Then I can't play.
The only guy can beat.
It's one of those weird things where
Every time you bet, I raise
you could almost make the argument that every single time Siegel raises you on the flop, you can 3-bet him.
Right, because he just always has
Raising, you've made a good fold.
an information
Every single
hand.
time.
His range is
Or
so
a bluff.
polarized, and he just flat calls with all his strong hands, so it makes
Yeah.
his range look so much weaker. Just decimates his raising range.
Yeah. Abernathy has the table covered.
I love
She
that.
only bought in for 10K. She's up $16,500. Our big winner.
I can also just lie and be like, oh, they get
Keep in mind, she was down 5K.
the camera got it wrong.
Oh, Ryan Feldman. Tommy Lee? I went out with him in New York City the other day.
You're so blatant. You're so
I don't think it's him that know him, but he knows his brother or something. Anyway, if you know that name. Small world.
Good decision, Mike. I want you to know when I put chips in the pot, the likelihood of him playing the hand goes up about 27%.
1650. And it reps in the morning. That was a bad hand.
Jack
1650.
called with that hand earlier.
Queen Jack suited one and threes one. Those are my 3 best hands.
You got about 7,000 behind.
I've never even had an ace.
$7.
Ace queen ace jack.
Big 4-bet here. Big 3-bet by Porter.
Fluff that one off.
The ball looked like it was in front of you. That was pretty bad.
It went 300 to 1,600.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting raise size because you kind of make it tough for your opponent to call.
Oh, you had the button.
But
Even though
Dentale did call.
Dentale, with what's been going on lately, he might just call anyway, not taking into account chip sizes, stack sizes.
Shaking his head. He's already given up.
I feel like young kids look at me like the old guys, so I just like old
Pro tip.
play that.
If you haven't made up your mind, don't shake your head before that.
Absolutely.
$1,900 C-bet from Porter gets through.
I thought you were the button when you re-raised too.
I wasn't trying to.
No, it wasn't your fault, obviously. It just no, he thought he was on the button.
Yeah.
He thought
So you're saying it's stronger if you raise the small? I didn't get that.
2 years ago.
he also
You
just
tried to go
completely
small
ripped the
two
first
times,
time.
advertising and everything there, Joe.
By the way, guys, those of you who are asking for more table talk, we'll do our best to lay out when 1 or 2 people are talking and there's kind of a story. When there's 5 conversations going on at the same time, I think it's fairly impossible to hear anything anyway, is it?
There's only one first day, but then they have
Yeah, 5 is big.
I would love to. I just have plans.
Yeah, what is he really going to have? He can't have Jack 5. He can't have.
Rockasili says Dentale is a legend.
He can't have Ace 5. I don't believe it. He can, but not the Ace of Diamond. No.
Oh, you didn't get
That's a
bad
black
days of diamonds.
5. Now it's a black
McKeon
5.
making it 350 in a straddle pot.
You guys are so much better than me. You think like I had like.
I'll tell you this, if I had a flush, I would have bet exactly.
So, I mean, I know you play huge. You play like 2,000, 4,000, no limit hold'em.
It's
When you
occasionally.
play in a game like this, I mean, I know you play smaller also, obviously, but if you're playing in a game that's 25-50, is it hard for you to stay focused and disciplined when the game is a little small for you?
I didn't want to bring my hand. I
It definitely doesn't. It's definitely not necessarily as stimulating, maybe like in the same way that having a glass of wine isn't the same as going out with your friends and getting wasted on the weekend type of thing, but it's still like an enjoyable experience, and I still always try to play my best because it's always an opportunity to challenge yourself and learn something. And I think that instilling good habits at the table is a behavioral thing, and if it's too easy to let yourself slip in one game and then let that be a part of who you are and how you react to situations and negativity, and you build those habits over time. It's important to be good at it.
McKeon hits his queen on the turn. I think a lot of players have trouble with that in the sense, you know, if you normally play, and it's all relative, if you normally play 5-10 and you're playing 1-2, or if you normally play 300, 600 and you're playing 25-50, I think sometimes it can be difficult for players to play their A game.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how big or how small. And by the way, the other way around too. We saw earlier on Ruddick.
Absolutely.
Who made that fold with kings, and he even said, if this was my normal game, I'm not folding.
Right.
Because this game was too big for him.
Yeah, and it gives more credence to the fact that you should be working towards playing your A game a focus all the time, independent of the stakes or size or anything, because it's just a habit that you instill in yourself, and the more times that you make that behavior your normality, the more times you can execute when it counts. So it's practice. All these games are practice for the big show. It's kind of like saying, would a basketball player, should they not work as hard in practice because they're not playing against an opponent for the NBA championships? And it's like, no, those times in practice are what make them capable of being the best they can be when it matters in the NBA Finals.
Big bet here for McKeon. Pot is $9,225.
Great spot for him. I mean, he just hit his queen, almost always has the best hand, got a perfect run out. And likely to get paid here, too.
But we've already noticed Porter does not like the fold. He didn't fold the queens, got lucky against the aces.
Yep.
Didn't fold against Blesnik when he had the trip queen 10.
Yeah, and now maybe even steaming a little bit. You have to think that people are less likely to bluff you when you've been losing because they think that you're going to more likely steam and call. It's something to be aware of, too.
It's one thing I always ask myself. I go, when somebody bets the river against me, I always nice fold that, nice lay down by Porter.
Yeah, great lay down.
I always
lay down.
I always kind of ask myself, very simple question. You try to simplify the game as much as you can. Does my opponent expect me to call?
Right.
Just ask that question. Next time somebody puts a big bet in or any kind of bet on the river, does your opponent expect you to call?
It's so great. You write the story from your opponent's point of view. That's really, really well said. And it's something sounds so obvious, but it's so often overlooked, and people get on all these levels and they miss the core essence of how to make decisions.
Beat like 2 jacks. That's what you're asking.
McKeon now has a table covered. He's in for 20,000, so he's up about 8,000. Abernathy's still our big winner. Porter, though, now only up 6,000. He was up about, I want to what it was, 14 at one point, right? 15? Just a few hands ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you
Hansen, by the way, has rebought. I want to say he rebought 5,000 more.
We're done.
4,000 more, so he's in for 14,000.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard you.
And that sometimes it doesn't come back.
Oh, just sometimes. Okay.
It wasn't like a permanent case. I'm just not good at folding. It's certainly the worst part of my poker game.
Raised 350.
I mean, you play a lot of
Once again, if you're enjoying this today, we're back at it tomorrow. Tell your friends about it. All day long, we'll do our best to answer your questions on Twitch.
I mean, like, there's some merits to it.
And obviously, it'll be great poker. Some of the same names you're seeing today, plus others, will be joining us.
If you folded a better hand, you definitely shouldn't have folded it. So.
You're value betting, you're probably winning. I had a good hand on the flop.
I believe you.
McKeon, very active, but he's also picking up his fair share of big hands.
Right.
1,800.
That worked out poorly. You
That
made
is
queens
queen.
up. Oh, he's
A lot of things are going well
Ace-queen
for
with 2
him.
flush draw blockers.
Playing
Tolly
well.
called, Siegel calls, Baker going to try to pick up the dead money. He recognizing that McKeon has actually been opening up a lot. Unfortunately for him, McKeon's picked up a big hand here.
5,000 behind.
And good for Baker for taking advantage of aggression, of potential weakness here, in the situational weakness.
I actually love the 3-bet. The
I
fact
do
that
too.
Tolly and Siegel actually flatted between.
I do too.
You have aces? I have ace-king.
Unfortunately, it's just, you know,
We have ace-king?
McKeon's got a huge hand.
I'm offsuit if you're offsuit. Me too. Can we do that or? Oh, you're ahead. No, we're even. We're dead even. Yeah.
Oh, he jammed.
Are we dropping?
I'll chop it.
Deal it out. Deal it out.
Oh wait, what happened?
trapping?
How is the pot so big?
All right, go.
I don't think I like this hand as much. What happened? How is the pot?
Well, McKeon just moved all in. Well, he re-raised and the hand's over. That's it. We're not seeing a flop.
Oh, okay.
We went one step too far. McKeon actually did 4-bet.
I got it.
Baker, and everybody folded.
And Baker folded. It just, the graphics are wrong. Sorry, guys.
We have Baker calling, but obviously he did
Yeah.
not.
Okay. And we have the board running. Sorry, guys.
There's just, I got Mikey, so I won more than you did that.
I was going to say, there's no way Baker's calling off of ace-6.
Everybody calls that hand big
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I don't like this as much as I thought originally.
I love the 3-bet. Unfortunately,
Yeah, it's just unfortunate timing.
McKeon actually had a hand.
It's always getting through when McKeon doesn't have a hand. He's never going to bluff there, McKeon.
No, I mean, exactly. And you look at what Dintali and Siegel had behind. Both
Right.
garbage.
Raise 350.
I believe Siegel has raised to 350.
The Twitch stream is saying that they both had ace-king, so the graphics must have just been completely wrong on our end.
Okay.
Because we saw it with them having ace-6.
Well, they saw the same thing we had, but they might have seen the cards over.
Okay.
And if that is the case, then, yeah, probably an all-in, a call. and they
Either
just
way, it's
chopped
a
it
great
up.
spot for a bluff, which is kind of what we were alluding to.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for sharing. Thank you. Graphics was wrong. Yep, we got it. Sorry about that, guys.
By the way, if everybody's wondering, we're seeing the exact same screen you are. We are on a 30-minute delay as well, just like you guys are home. We're actually seeing literally the same exact program feed that you're seeing at home.
At the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the key.
Like to have a better hand.
So even though we are on a 30-minute delay, we're doing this
We're all
live.
we're all 30 minutes delayed together.
Right. Porter raising to 1250. Siegel had opened to 350.
Let's go, pal.
It's a good raise here because Siegel's so likely to just call and check fold any flop he misses. So I don't mind this 3-bet here, especially with a hand that has equity post flop and plays decently well as potential to flop.
Check on the flop.
I don't mind that.
I'm very surprised actually that you were like.
Let your opponent bluff here, possibly. You don't really get any better hands to fold on the flop, nor do you get that many worse hands to call. It's a good spot to check.
I only like this bet by Siegel is if he plans on firing the river too.
Yeah.
Like it's like if to bet one street makes no sense.
If you're playing against a good player here, they should have a balanced checking range on the flop, which means they should be checking back strong hands as well. And Porter seems to be that type of player, which means it's harder for Siegel to effectively bluff here. Now, Siegel might not know that and continue with this bluff on the river. We shall see.
They're doing it because they think it's a good.
No. Check. Ace-jack's good.
Immediate check means ace-jack is almost always good.
This is my first time too.
That being said, if Siegel did bet the river, he has a 9 or better, or air. So I think ace-jack might have called because he's never betting a king on the river there.
Really? You don't think he could have king-queen there?
Not with how Siegel has been playing. What do you think?
No, probably not the way Siegel plays.
Nah, I just think he's just too ABC to go for thin value there, especially in a re-raised pot.
I agree with you.
Yeah, man said he could get me in. Yeah, it's after all the tournaments.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, this is
Live at Turning Stone. We are here for a 25-50 no-limit hold'em cash game. Alec Torelli, David Tuckman in the booth. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. We're back at it tomorrow. And if tournament poker is your thing, on Monday we've got a final table of the main event that is going on here right now.
Well, I didn't play with him much when we first the tournament, and every time like I had a bunch of buddies that did, and they're like, "This kid's a running joke." Like, I'll be back here. Running joke. And then I started playing with him, and like I was just like, "He's playing really fucking good. He's not just really good." He tried to play back at me the most two tables.
Raise. 400. You're playing 7,000.
Lesnick's going to be raising here with any two, I think, after there's a call and Dentale in the big blind, but he actually has a big hand. Raise in front of him.
Makes it 1,500. Baker calls. We're going to see this one heads up between Baker and Blesnik. Both players with diamonds.
Yep.
And then Baker outflops him. This one is heads up between Blesnik and Baker.
So bothered at 25, and I was bothered at like 6. Another reason I thought that you just go with glass, so not fair.
Can't imagine Baker doing anything but check and calling this.
Yeah, and Blesnik's always betting here. I like a half pot bet size here. I think that's enough. Not much you have to protect against. Just take down the pot here.
No, not as good the honor.
Third hard out there. By the way, there's a lot of conversation, and there's been some rumors abound around Tom Dwan, who's always very interesting. I know you play in Macau and you play some of the bigger games out there.
Yeah, played a lot together.
What's the current state of Tom Dwan? What's going on with him?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much talk on the internet. I guess I would say I don't really keep up with what the current gossip is about him. I know he's like a favorite subject for people to talk about, but I would say that you shouldn't believe everything you read. And,
I was gonna say some people say he's broke. Some people
say
this. I mean, I know nothing about.
Yeah, I would say that anywhere that anybody on the internet's getting their information is just completely random and skeptical, and it has probably not at all based in fact. And I think that the people that actually know what his situation is are very, very, very few far in between, and no one that does know would ever say anything. So
Baker bet 1,000.
Don't even waste your time thinking about it.
Let's just say.
Good blocking bet here. I mean, Blesnik can't raise, and
Obviously, I'm waiting for you to make the decision.
yeah, the thing is that it's hard for Blesnik to call it with the worst.
I've kind of been experimenting with like small river sizing.
But Blesnik can't really raise here.
Obviously,
Yeah, I mean, just to go back to the Tom subject, I mean, I definitely wasting your time speculating. It just, trust me on that. I promise you.
I mean, he's such an interesting character.
I know, it's like he's so loved to talk about by the poker community, whereas other players that are in big spots just aren't as gossiped about.
His rapid rise in the world of poker,
his playing style,
the way he came. I mean, he is. I mean, when you look at the internet poker boom, not the Chris Moneymaker, he may be the face of the internet, right?
Yeah.
The internet poker boom.
He just was always at the forefront of the way that the game was changing. I remember I was with Tom in the Bahamas when I was 18. This was 10 years ago when I first met him, and he was playing 10-20 no limit on Party Poker at the time, which was the biggest game. And, we were sitting behind him sweating in one session, and he was playing with this other guy who was really good and aggressive, and they were sort of like the best two players in the game at the time. And he was just talking out loud about his strategy, and he was like already 3-betting and 4-betting people on bluffs when it was just something that nobody ever did 10 years ago. And he just changed the way that people had to think about the game because he was doing things that nobody else had seen before. And he was always like that for him, and I think that's why he's captured so much attention from the poker community and his unconventional playing styles.
How good is he?
It's tough to play against. I think that there's players that I would, kind of like you asked me in this game earlier, like who's playing really well and who would you rather back. He plays really, really tough. He's one of the tougher players to play against, but there's other players I'd rather back.
By that.
I like when he says you could have 2 jacks.
Raise from
But in terms of creativity, there's nobody like Tom.
Well,
I mean, I've had the pleasure of commentating on him in cash games before, and I met him. And he certainly will, if you play against him, he certainly will put you to the test.
Absolutely. He's really good at understanding people and getting them outside their comfort zone. Really, really good at it.
This is interesting. So Blesnik opened, and once again, since our RFID technology has not been spot on today, I'm just wondering. Blesnik opened with 7-3. I buy it. But we have it as he called the 3-bet.
From McKean, out of position, or in position from McKean, I just don't know if he's calling that thin. I think he might have suited here.
Actually, 90%.
I'm not convinced he has 7-3.
98%.
So this is a spot where a lot of people check on ace-XX boards when they have overpairs that aren't, below the ace, obviously, like kings through 10s. It's really important to be checking here also with aces in your hand.
McKean has the king of diamonds, by the way. If Blesnik does indeed have 7-3, he's open-ended.
Yeah. I think McKeon's always check calling the turn here because Blesnik could have so many middle rundown hands like 9-10 that are going to continue bluffing, trying to get his opponent to fold by the river. So I just feel like McKeon's always calling here when he has a diamond.
2,500, you had to put 9,000 more.
I think this is 100% a check call.
And I don't think Blesnik's got 7-3.
Regardless
I think if
of
he
what
had
he has,
seven,
I
I think
still
if he had
McKeon's
7-3,
check calling.
I think if Blesnik had 7-3, he bets more.
Well, he might be setting it up for. He might be a level ahead and saying to himself, "I know McKeon's going to call me here on the river, but McKeon can't have a turn. But McKeon can't really have a flush, and I want to set it up so I can make a big river bet and not commit McKeon to this pot. Whereas if I bet too big on the turn, now McKeon's committed to the pot, and I can't get him off the hand on the river."
Blesnik didn't have many outs if he has 7-3, but he hit one of them. He needed a 5 or a 10 that was not a diamond, and he got exactly that.
McKeon might even talk himself into a call here. It's a really bad card, but there's, if he could have 7s in his hand, he might also have complete air, like 10-jack in his hand. If he could have 7s in his range, if he has any hand with a 7, it means that he could also have bluffs.
Blesnik bets 3,500. The pot is now almost 16,000, 3,500 to call.
I don't quite like the bet sizing as much. I think I'd bet a little
He flopped the straight.
bigger.
I mean, I don't know.
But that's fine.
Wonder how Jared's buried.
Blesnik, can we see?
You're playing good, you're just running bad, kid. What can you do?
I think he got called, right?
He said to me, Siegel, tell him what you told me earlier.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he got called.
I said, I'm not running bad. I'm playing bad. See? It's the truth.
It was really, I mean, I was staring at the screen, but it was very, very difficult to actually follow that. I wasn't sure if he got called, but I think he turned his hand over and said straight, so I'm just not sure. I just wonder if he actually did have 7-3.
But what about that one?
So he was called. I don't know if he had 7-3 or not. But he did say straight. I heard him say straight. So he got called. And you can see here, McKeon now down to 18,600. So he's actually down. Abernathy has... she changes gears.
That's the first
Good for her, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, on a
She
dime,
either doesn't
too.
play hands...
Or she plays all of them.
Plays all of them, and then plays none again.
Come on, shut up.
At the 1,500
Who are
to
you,
the
who are
7-3
you
off.
talking to?
I'm serious.
You got a good back. You got a strong one.
I sold pieces.
We all know that.
Do the people get to watch that you sold pieces to? Oh,
No, they don't. These guys, they don't care. They have
So we know he had a 7 in his hand. I'm just wondering if he had 7-3, and unfortunately, I just could not see it.
We can only hope.
I'm sure the TV cameras picked it up, and it will be on the TV show, but I couldn't pick it up with the live stream. My apologies.
Sorry, guys. They're saying, how did we confuse the hands? I mean, we see the graphics that they had, the cards that were telling you that they had.
You know, there's no confusing. We're saying, like, yeah, I said, I was staring at it. I just couldn't see.
Yeah.
He did say straight. I heard that.
You asked if you're good. I found
Hansen's
like
going to
one of the
open this
rare
with King
hands, like,
Queen.
in the deck that wasn't.
Or Hansen calls. My apologies.
You needed 2 cards to help you on the flop. And you got a 5.
Pot's $1,200. Flop is Queen, Jack 10. 2 diamonds out there. Baker with the flush draw. Hansen with top pair open-ended.
Wanted to call a shove. I didn't want to call.
Then Tale with bottom pair, backdoor spades, and a gut shot to Broadway.
Almost made me fold.
Everybody checks. Baker bets 800. He's the pre-flop raiser.
Just looks bluffy to me. 3,500 looked like you had it. But it's a good price as well. And if you're bluffing, I'm very sad.
People pointing out, yes, there's a straddle pretty much every hand in this particular spot. Hansen calling out of the straddle, obviously not going to fold this.
A lot more likely to win.
800. Yeah, 800. You gave me 5,000, really? No.
Pot is $3,600. Turns the 9 of spades. It's an interesting card. Hansen with the straight, then Tale now with the flush draw. Baker still with the diamond draw. I don't like checking this if I'm Hansen, if it does get to him. I don't like checking it to Baker because I just think it's going to get checked through too often. And I don't want to give the free card to 2 players.
Yeah, you know that one of your opponents has a lot of equity.
Share with me?
On such a wet board, I mean,
If you lift the glass out,
and it does get checked through. 10 of hearts is a blank, although Dentale does make trip 10s, but it's a one-liner to a straight.
Poker night in America.
cheers.
Playing bad and getting lucky.
You have to go rob 3 7-Elevens on the way home.
Poker night in America.
Do you know how many 7-Elevens?
And now Dentale is going to bet ace 10.
Is he bluffing? What's he doing?
He's definitely not bluffing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, check through. I think he actually thinks he has the best hand.
Yeah, I just don't think he could ever get called good worse.
Nope. Hansen calls. Shows a straight. So what do you think about turn play?
I think that Hansen should... Who bet the flop?
Well,
Baker?
Baker was the pre-flop raiser. Baker put a continuation bet out there.
Yeah.
Got called in 2 spots.
Yeah, so you got to check if you're Hansen because
Yeah?
Baker can still have ace-king.
Okay.
So if you're betting into Baker, you can't have ace-king from the big blind, and your opponent can. So you're just putting yourself in a spot where you could get stacked. Even at the risk of getting a free card, it's kind of tough to bet there.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I just feel like it's going to get checked back so often.
Yeah, that being said, betting is good because you know that Dentale probably has a flush draw, or we can overcalling the flop. So
This one back here?
I couldn't blame him if he did bet. Yeah, it's good to do some of the time for sure.
I mean, I think against players in a vacuum, I think if I have king queen in that spot, if I'm in Hansen's spot, and if I'm playing against a player who's not tricky,
Yeah,
who's only ever raising when they have ace king,
then I'm always betting.
right? If I'm playing against if you're playing against Blesnik or you're playing against Tom
a
Dwan,
really good player. Yeah,
I think I'm probably going to check it because I don't have ace king in my range and they can punish me.
exactly. And a flush draw is a great hand for him to make a play with on the turn because he has some equity. He could win if the flush comes or maybe bluff you. But
I'm gonna try to look at the
betting definitely isn't exploited often enough. So I think betting there is fine.
Siegel picks up queens. He's picked up some big hands. Unfortunately for him, his aces were gunned down earlier on by Porter's queens. He's going to 3-bet again, though, at queens. This time to 900.
Definitely going to get called by Baker here.
By the way, Siegel has 3-bet, I want to say, 4 times.
And he had aces.
Aces, queens, queens.
That's it that I remember. I think this is
Oh,
the
and
third
ace queen of
time.
hearts.
Oh, yeah.
That one time with ace queen of hearts.
And there were a couple others. He 3-bet me with ace queen free from small blind earlier. On the one where he bluffed the king, and then he bluffs the king against me. He fires out and bluffs the king. I mean, like, those are things that indicate he actually...
6-4 deuce.
Play, right?
Don't know what Dentale has here.
Good luck, Mike.
He's on the button.
Well, he's drawing dead against Siegel. That we know.
We know the 10 of hearts is not a good card to have in your hand when you're up against queens.
And I just think that Siegel's range here is always... I don't know if he would shove here with ace-king. Maybe he would the new Siegel, after dinner Siegel, the Siegel that's stuck, but you still got to be really worried with an overpair.
Just like here. What do you have?
Which is maybe why I didn't realize how shallow they were. It's maybe why I would even fold 9s pre-flop if I'm Baker, just because you don't have enough implied odds to play for a set post-flop. I thought they were 10k deep or something, and then
If Siegel's never bluffing, if Siegel's never bluffing and his
Pre-flop,
range
he's
includes,
never bluffing.
that's what I'm saying. If he's never bluffing pre-flop and his range includes overpairs, ace king, and ace queen suited,
Yeah.
how well is 9's doing?
Yeah, it's not doing well at all. It's 30% equity or something like that. So, and you just don't have reverse implied odds pre-flop because you stack yourself more than you hit a set and stack them. So it's probably better just to fold that hand. I didn't realize how shallow they were.
King's Punkmeister saying, would you ever consume alcohol at the poker table? Doesn't seem rational. I actually beg to differ. I mean, I think it's a personal thing. And I think you've got to know yourself and you can drink. I think it makes a lot of sense to keep poker as social as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And sometimes having a glass of wine or a beer among friends, among other poker players, makes a lot of sense. Just know yourself. I wouldn't, drink to the point where you're not making rational decisions, though.
Yeah, as a general rule, I don't really drink at the poker table if I'm competing But if you're playing in a game like that's much more friendly and dynamic, like this one where it's there's different sort of things going on here. It's for TV. Everyone else is engaging and it's fun and it's lively and talkative. It's a different situation. You got to kind of evaluate each situation differently. It's hard to just say one thing is right for all, one size fits all for that. You know.
McKeon raising to 350. Baker's the straddle this time.
Deep in a tournament might be an example of a time when you would never really drink at the poker table just because it's not that atmosphere. But in this cash game, it's totally different.
10 high flop, 2 spades out there. Hansen checks out of the small blinds.
You like getting touched?
I might, yeah, sure.
By her.
Mike likes touching people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Dude, I've known Mike longer than anyone at this table. Known him for over 10 years.
Known him for over 10 years,
Really?
Mike? Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, dead.
Mike's silent because he's not doing very well.
Really? I tell you that. I was wondering why he was so
Anybody hungry?
We haven't been friends, but we've been cool for 10 years.
Oh shit, that's right. You're
He
fine.
used to drive me to Borgata when I was 19 years
Oh,
old.
but you have your something to do. All right. Oh, the
He
corner.
drove you there in his car.
That's okay.
Baker bets 500. And remember, he was not the pre-flop raiser. He actually called out of the straddle. Hansen's going to check raise here, and he can't really have much of anything. I mean, he's not check raising. I'll put it this way: he's not check raising with King 10.
You said you were 28. You used to go to Borgata when you were 19.
Well, he obviously couldn't play. He was only 19.
Yeah, put 100
I'll
up.
have to ask him what he had on that one.
Just saying, I don't think he was playing.
You never have to tell me to induce action in front of
Just
you.
making sure you know it was your turn.
I know. Let me. Siegel should have the button in the last hand. Siegel should have the button in the last hand.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Siegel needs to have the button in the last hand.
It's the same thing he
So
said.
you're not drawing them like that.
I want Siegel having. I want Siegel with the orbit. I want Siegel with the last button. That's good for the game.
You understand? That's the same exact thing he said. You know that, right? Yes, it is.
Blesnik in the straddle this time. Abernathy first to act.
Yeah, I hope I can win one more pot, so I only got about 6 7.
This isn't studying. The button matters in this game.
Canuli, been fairly quiet as of late. Ever since that Jack hand, he's kind of pulled back.
Right, well, just say the point's coming.
Yeah.
4, 6, 7, 11s on the way home. One or the other.
Dentali raises to 300.
I won a 5. I just won with the queens. So I'm down to 6. If I can win one more pot, 3 would be great.
How much behind? 2,000.
My phone's blowing up after that. Oh, you saw it?
You want action or no?
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Whatever you say, I'm going to do.
Play your hand, whatever you want to do. I will
Say yes
never
or no.
tell you what to do.
Do you want action?
I will never tell you what to do. You do what you want.
Tell me what to do, please.
You guys are idiots.
Good call.
You know, Mark, I slow played.
No flop there.
I only put 11,000 pre-flop.
Rhett Porter now on the button.
I slow played him, Joe.
Let me tell you something.
All right,
Joe,
I can take
okay?
it.
Joe, I slow played
Joe,
him.
he raised.
Just look at
Hold
your
on,
stack.
hold on,
I'm
let
sure
me-
you can.
Joe, he raised. Siegel raised. Okay.
Buy-ins anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000.
I was in there too. I had 350 in
He
there.
moves all in for 10,000.
You know, he
What does he have?
failed to neglect
Hold
my
on.
call of your
What does
raise
he have when he
pre-flop.
moves all in for 10,000 no limit? What does he have? He's got 2 aces, okay? His best friend in the world knows that he's got 2 fucking aces. He's got 2 fucking aces, and this fucking idiot calls a queen.
To be fair, his best friend probably knows his range a little better than
He
the person
spikes-
who just
he
met him
spikes a
today.
queen on
Or
third.
not, just met him from
Yeah, we
no
never
limit
played
hold'em.
no limit.
Never played
Is
no
that my
limit.
right or no?
I mean,
Did
it
I say the
doesn't
story right or
matter.
no?
I would think a blind guy would know that 2 aces.
20
Abernathy in the straddle. She's decided to straddle now.
Did I say it right? The story?
And maybe this will be the loose Abernathy that we haven't seen in a while,
What do you
coming
think,
back.
What do you think your boy has when he puts 10,000 mil? No limit hold'em. That's stud. No limit hold'em. See, they know.
I told him I would have flatted with 2 kings for 2,000. They don't believe me. I would have just called. They don't believe me. They think I would have pushed with 2 kings. Tell him, Joe. I flat with this dude, right?
425.
So what happened here?
Got him in good a bunch.
Hansen raising.
Show lost every pod. But I got him in bad one. And I ran so bad last time, I lost 17,000. I put up on the screen that I lost 24,000.
So Siegel called.
Did you really? Like,
Wonder why.
No.
The raise is actually at 425.
All right, I'm not going to get even not playing it. We got to go.
That's when you know you had a bad day, right?
Blesnik's going to continue on. Siegel calls as well, so 3 ways.
You lost every hand possible.
Ace high flop, 2 diamonds out there. Siegel out flops both Hansen and Blesnik. Turns the ace.
125.
All right, 600.
600.
Easy win for Siegel here.
Yeah, Blesnik's going to take a shot at it, though. He bet.
You know the last time I did this, I re-raised you, right?
Yep, I have a very good memory. You bet 270.
Siegel raising.
Nice hand, Mike.
And this hand's over.
Came over the top. So let's play another hand. 'Cause you're obviously
Even though you know he's likely raising thin with an ace, Blesnik can't bluff here because he's not going to fold an ace to a 3-bet. And Blesnik knows that, especially after doing it the first time. So I just don't think he's ever going to go for it here. What do you think?
I don't think so.
tell you what, I don't have.
I tend to agree.
A little too much.
I fold. I'm only folding because
Ace eight of hearts.
But if he did have a hand that beat an ace, he would definitely be 3-betting the flop here for value, knowing that Siegel
That's it. I'm gambling.
Likely
has an ace-x hand that he likes to get out of line here with a little.
I can't get even.
Not necessarily out of line, but just he likes to play this way. Once you know how your opponent plays, it's really...
I made 3 aces.
He won the pot.
ace 3 offs.
You just played 7-3
Got about 20 minutes left in tonight's play.
Yeah, the difference is I was in position.
Yeah,
So
you
was
were in
he.
position. You were bent over.
Yeah, and
the
I'll probably hang out here for
I didn't call you.
15, 20 minutes after and answer some questions for you guys if you have some for me. So
Siegel, if I
Look
hang
at
on.
you go.
I'll
I'll just be back tomorrow.
I got a lot of energy. So.
You do. I have tons of energy. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I do it nonstop all summer at the World Series, and
Yeah,
But generally speaking, when the last hand of poker has been played,
that's true.
Brian, you want to get a beer?
I got to see what my wife's doing, but
Brian wants a beer.
you don't drink at all? Good for you.
Brian doesn't. What do you mean, good for you?
It's good. It's
Are
healthy.
you making a judgment call on me?
No, just
So judgy.
someone's being healthy. It's good.
Are you trying to say I'm not healthy? There are studies out there that say red wine is good for you.
Yeah, resveratrol increases life expectancy.
See?
I'm gonna chase you down just so I know like how much to put in for you.
Well, brother.
But a
You beat
case
me
of
in every
beers,
pot. How much are you down for now?
we're looking for studies. I'm just giving you a hard time.
But you played, Joe. No bullshit. I had you beat.
No, there's definitely
I knew a groundskeeper.
health aside. There's always a lifestyle balance to everything. You can't just be 100%. Crazy.
I mean,
Played it well. Every
maybe
time.
one time I could have called. Every other time.
And you would beat though every time. The other time with the low board.
Guy I knew who lived in Denham Village in the UK had a groundskeeper.
Right.
Groundskeeper was there, worked there for years and years and years. Many acres to work on. The guy literally, every day, this was his diet, had a potato and salad for lunch
All right.
and had Guinness. And that's all he drank. He lived till he was 95.
Awesome.
If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me.
That's awesome. That's all he ate throughout the whole day?
Yeah, that's what he had.
Wow. Incredible.
Blesnik with the flush draw.
Oh,
Canuli.
smashed it here.
Yeah, Canuli with middle set.
Canuli just flatted, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not the way. It
No.
works for you.
He
No,
flatted.
This is a 3-bet pot. Pot's 4,400 already.
Yes, Canuli 3-bet. I mean, Blesnik just flatted.
Right.
Yeah.
It's over
Excuse me.
Like five more hands.
22.
Check it.
Check.
Picked up a lot of equity on the turn here. Or he thinks he did at least against a one-pair
Right,
hand.
exactly.
So it's unlikely he's going to fold now.
No, he certainly thinks he picked it up.
Probably thinks he's getting better direct odds than he actually is against Canuli's range. Probably thinks Canuli has a one-pair hand, and he's going to he could win with a 6 or a 7 is my point. Doesn't know that he's drawing only to a flush that doesn't pair the board.
Yeah, a 6 would be devastating for him, obviously.
Or a 7. I mean, you know, yeah, a 6 would be absolutely devastating.
I think if a 7 falls off, and
Just
a
check
7
call.
it's like a check call.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're still beat by ace king.
3,800.
Blesnik checks.
A little under a half
By the way,
pot bet
Blesnik
here.
could do something crazy here.
Yeah, it's
Blesnik has it in him to do something crazy here.
even though it's not the best spot for it because it's hard to rep something effectively, but it's a really small bet by Canuli. And I think when I have 2 kings here, I'm gonna bet bigger, because it's your opponent could much easier have an ace because you don't block any of the aces. With a set of aces, it's a little different. But even with a set of aces, it's more likely that your opponent has a draw. You don't really want to price them in.
It's an all-in and a call.
Wow.
The all-in and the call, and you saw Blesnik. Oh, uh-oh. I just had a feeling. Like I said, I played with this guy 10 hours on day 1 of the World Series of Poker. I had a feeling he was going to make a move.
Great read there. And I think
just felt
to
it. Look at
Canuli's
him.
credit, he read the stack sizes right, and he bet small to kind of entice his opponent to shove all in.
I think they're running the river more than once. We'll see. Or not. Nope.
It's kind of cool to run it once, like you talked about, if you're Canuli here, especially with knowing that you have a huge bankroll for the game now, and it kind of putting that intimidation even further into your opponents.
Yeah, we're talking about a $34,000 pot when it's all said and done.
Right.
Blesnik does have him covered, but only slightly. They're going to count this one down. Against the 3-better's range, I love aggressive play. I really do. And I understand what Blesnik's doing there. He's got a pair, he's got a flush draw. He knows he's got a lot of equity against.
Doesn't want to check a lot of position.
But I guess against the 3-better's range, you've got to be wary that your opponent's got aces, kings, and ace-king in his range. And you're not getting those hands to fold ever.
Yeah, you're never getting like a better hand to fold, which is sort of the problem. Like if
because the better hands that aren't like if he had 3-bet with
jacks, he's never going to bet the turn.
Yeah.
So you're never getting better hands that bet to fold. So his range on the turn is polarized between like hands that are calling and hands that are folding. There's nothing really in between that you're getting to fold. He's never betting with a king and then bet folding it. So
yeah, you can make the argument that once Blesnik actually pairs his 6,
it's less reason to check raise all in. Whereas if he doesn't pair the 6, now he kind of has to check raise all in or check fold, depending on how often his opponent's bluffing the turn. But I don't really see the reason to do it when he pairs up. I think he thought, well, I have more equity. It's a good spot to do it now. But if you think the hand through, if Canuli's betting for value, he's always bet calling. So it just doesn't make as much sense.
I'm just going to jam it blind this hand, and I'm going to lose 100 in my shot.
Wow. It's freaky. It didn't sound like you had something like that. It sounded like you had
you saw Blesnik all in, and then just that snap call, and Blesnik just absolutely deflated. And that was a $17,000 win for Canuli. And it wasn't enough the guy won $1 million already. Locked that up. He's now crushed this as well. Blesnik, by the way, by far our big loser today.
Yeah. Definitely. That's one of the difficulties about playing a lag style, a loose, aggressive style, is that when it doesn't go right, you find yourself incurring more variance than any of the other players.
Yeah.
What if I have just an ace? If I'm bluffing,
I mean, if that board somehow, I'm trying to think here, if that board is,
Thank you, Dan.
You've played more in line today.
if that board is like Jack 9 deuce,
Yep.
and then the 6 comes off, I like it better. Just because it's really like,
I'm just straddled.
there just aren't as many hands that your opponent has in a 3-bet that he's going to be happy to get it in with.
And he might be bluffing you more with, like a lot of equity, like king, queen, king,
Yeah.
king 10 or something. But there's just not many bluffs in his range on the ace-XX board. I don't know. Maybe he's bluffing, but if he is bluffing, then you're way ahead.
Got about 10 minutes left in today's play. We are back at it tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. More cash game action. Hopefully the man standing next to me right now, Alec Torelli, will be in the game. If he's not in it right away, he'll probably be in it fairly shortly after that. Siegel's going to raise to 450, a little bit bigger than normal. McKeon is the straddler. I don't think Siegel's got much money. That must be the case for this, right?
Right. I think he's like under 1K.
I want him too.
What do you have?
Oh, that's a better hand than I have.
What do you think, Barry? What do you think?
I would have never folded
That has
that
me
hand.
beat right now.
Wow, Siegel just gave it up, though. Siegel had just folded. McKeon picks it up. Did he? Or did he call? No, he did call, okay.
I have a real hand.
Yeah, you do, really? I have a spade, do you?
Yeah. Spade's good.
Spade's better.
Actually, we butchered this hand from the start. Blesnik is the one who's all in. So Siegel got out of the way. Siegel was the original raiser. Blesnik shoved. McKeon re-shoved, or at least re-raised. Got rid of Siegel, and it's Blesnik versus McKeon, and I think Ace-Jack won.
Which ace did you have?
It did.
No, I had
Red ace, queen of spades?
And Blesnik, who has bought in for $23,000, is down to felt.
Yep.
So we do apologize for the graphics mix-up there. That's still with the action. So Siegel actually opened for 450. Blesnik shoved.
Obviously, she wants to.
McKeon went with it with ace-jack, and then Siegel let it go. He had ace-queen, and ace-jack high won it.
Right.
I want to call it.
Oh, I mean, he can play behind.
I think this is all you're going to see from Blesnik because the game is ending really soon. So coming
He's back tomorrow.
Okay.
No.
I guess he's just going to play the last couple of hands here.
Yeah. My assumption is that he verbally announced that he's in
Right.
for 10K or 5K.
Oh, you didn't straddle, Mikey? No. No straddle, guys.
No straddle?
No straddle. We can pretend there's a straddle, though.
Rep says I would have snapped for him.
Did you call? Ace queen push your spot?
When I went all in?
Yeah.
No.
You would have folded
I had
ace
the
queen?
stone worst hand I do that with.
8,000 ace. Yeah, I put him on ace.
Were you calling?
I was calling you for 2,000. Of course I'm calling you.
I thought he was doing it with any two, though. I respect that raise, too.
But ace-jack's the stone worse. You think he's doing it with any two?
Yeah, because I thought, like, I have a decent hand if I get called by him.
It's just contradictory in statements.
Me? What did I say?
You said ace-jack is the worst you do it with, but he's doing it with any two.
Yeah, because I respect that raise. I factor that in. It's not... If I have ace 10, I'm probably folding.
Then you can just call the 2,000 and then you find out.
Yeah, but then you might call with ace queen and then it sucks.
Yeah,
Thanks, it's Neil. I really appreciate that.
If you would have made,
Even
like
if I call
said, if he,
2,000.
And yes, I
2,000, I would fold ace.
I am one of the commentators that worked on the Sunday Millions, the W Coops, and the Scoops for many years. A lot of fun. And, obviously, it was a pleasure to work for PokerStars for all those years.
Is it on wide?
We're like 2 nines or whatever. Everyone has a good view of it.
And Canuli now the big winner in the game, up 13,000.
I was
Came
trying
in
to
late,
get as
but
much stuck as possible, okay?
amassed a nice stack for himself.
I could buy dinner tonight with my winnings, so that's about it.
You can buy dinner and I got to hit 6 7-Elevens.
It's good that you finally
So
are.
how many 7-Elevens?
No, my name's Alex Torelli. I'm the other commentator here. Jeff is not been in the booth.
Good thing you're
Yeah,
leaving.
there you
get
go.
like the $15 meal and still be up on the day.
I mean, when a guy sees you walking around, it looks like you might not be able to buy dinner. I was worried.
I haven't heard that joke 17 times in the last hour.
Do they still play that 8160 OE game at Verona? That crusty game? No? No?
Feels a lot like 11.
Good
Border
three-
raising 250.
A good 3-bet spot for Canuli here. 3-bet spot in the sense that he's in a good position to do it against a good player to do it against, but unfortunately Porter has a monster, so he's not going anywhere.
Is there also something to be said for, like, let's say you know somebody's locked up a win, and
Yeah,
there's like
absolutely.
6 minutes left in
Absolutely.
play. Do they really want to get involved? Like, 3 minutes before the day is over.
Right. Generally, no, but Porter might not be that person. He is really aggressive with his hands, especially against Canuli. And
Doesn't like the fold.
with the ace-jack, he check-raised him on the flop with the king-deuce. Good for him for not being bullied around. And I think calling here pre-flop's just a little too weak. You allow your opponent to take control of the hand and just check fold anytime you miss. So good for him for 4-betting here.
So raise, 3-bet, 4-bet, back over to
It looks like Canuli wants to get out of line here. It feels like he's not going to give up here. Yep, I'm wrong.
Good read.
I've been wrong a lot. Nobody's perfect.
Hey, do you know how many
flat out wrong.
Do you know how many of those I get wrong?
Yeah.
God, it feels like he's going to fold. Yeah.
I got one right earlier. But
Is that a good card? 8 of spades. It's the 8 of spades? I mean, I don't know.
he looked like he had a plan. But.
This is the 8 of spades, right? I was just trying to get him to tell us.
Once again, we are back at it tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. More No Limit Hold'em cash games with hole cards.
What are you talking
This hand?
I didn't say this hand.
Torelli hopefully at the table.
This hand or before?
Hope so.
At some point today.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have the 4 hearts. I was just seeing if you really had the 4 hearts.
Later, Jimmy. Thanks for
Claiming I had it.
watching. Appreciate your support and feedback.
All right. You got me.
Advanced level line.
She's just way above our heads, man.
Raise. 300.
Got a raise here from Baker. Can't see his second card. We see the Jack of Diamonds, though. Once again, a straddled pot. Every pot pretty much straddled now. And has been that way throughout today.
Seems like a very bad hand.
Who? Oh, yeah. You got 2 shots.
Raised and called in 5 spots. King 10, 6, no suits. And it looks like Siegel has the best hand here with King Queen.
All right, finally bluff.
Oh.
Just those cards.
Siegel bets 1/3 of the pot. I don't know if anybody can give him any action.
Yeah, king is king.
Yeah.
So how are you bluffing with his king?
No, I was kidding. I didn't know you had king. Yeah, I got a king. Not ace. I was kidding.
No, he flipped his cards halfway over. He was asking checks.
I never see when the dealer is blocking me all the time. I can't see when you have cards.
Long chips.
Like he didn't have enough to make you fold anyway.
No.
No, he
Putting
thought
it
was
in. Yeah, we're putting it in.
more. Not folding.
Before we finish, Alec, I want to thank you for joining me in the booth, man. It's been a lot of fun working with you. I feel like I learned a lot today.
Thank you.
Honestly,
I'm
I can't believe it's your first time in the booth. You did a great job.
Wow, thank you. You made me look good. I definitely. Thank you, everyone, for your patience at the beginning here. While I was getting used to commentating, but it was a lot of fun. And
I wish you would have
cool to be on this side of it too. It's a different angle.
Yeah, for sure.
You had some great perspectives too.
Sometimes I think
really good
we-
insights I think you had into some of the deeper aspects of the game, and
You got married to those.
Well, sometimes I think
clear
we-
why you win at this game.
I think sometimes we mystify this game. Like, we want to make it so much harder than it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and the tendency, especially when you're sitting there in live poker, is just to overthink because you have nothing else to do, and sometimes you just have to slow yourself down and just keep it simple almost, right?
I mean, sometimes it's as simple as like just figuring out, okay, what is my opponent trying to accomplish?
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned that earlier when you were facing a bet on the river. You gave some great advice and told people just put yourself in your opponent's spots and ask them, would they try and bluff me here? That simple question can save you so much
Are they
money.
trying to get called or not? Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice.
Canuli with the king 10, and he flops top pair. Not much there for Dentali. Dentali, by the way, I do not think he has won a hand since he folded ace king to Samantha Abernathy.
Right.
I don't think he's won a hand.
I know, brutal.
I can't tell if he's got some bigger chips there. It looks like he's got nothing.
Yeah,
Right?
I think he's down to like 1,000 or something. So
He bought in for 5. He was up to as much as 19,000 at one
was
point.
the biggest winner at one point.
And it looks like right now he's got like 1,500 in front of him.
Yeah, and he just folded away too, so maybe even less.
Second to last hand of the night, you can show.
Yeah, the show is ending soon. They just said second to last hand of the night. I will probably hang out for another 20 minutes after and answer questions that you guys have. So if you care to stick around, I'll be here. And then I'm going to have to go to dinner because I haven't left this booth in about 9 hours.
By the way, guys, if you want to follow Alec, you can at Alec Torelli. You can also go to his website. If you have any questions for me, you can tweet me at Tuck on Sports. If I don't get to him right away, I promise I pretty much answer every single tweet I get. That's
what Joe told me.
not a complete troll.
Right.
And I even answer some of those. Some of those, if you're creative when you're trolling,
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
I do too. Some people are good at it.
If you're good, if you're good at trolling and creative and funny, all the power to you, man.
Or if it's constructive criticism, that's really insightful a lot of the times too.
I've been a lot less active this summer on Twitter as I've been on vacation, but once I get back to LA, I'm back to it full time. Ray's here from Cannuli.
Keeps hanging around, hanging around.
Tough day for Blesnik.
Absolutely.
He was a winner early on, and you mentioned, I mean, his play impressed you in the sense that he was the one player at the table that seemed to be playing players more than just his cards.
Actually just taking advantage of people instead of just kind of tightening up and waiting for easy spots to win money. He was actually making situations happen.
And there was just a couple of spots that he couldn't dial it back. I mean, he made that raise to 4,500.
Right. That was just...
You know, he makes the shove with the 6-7 of hearts. There were just a couple of plays here and there that ended up costing him, and obviously cost him big. He is down over $23,000.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's one of the curses of the loose aggressive styles. They feel the need to kind of do things and act and take actions. They kind of sometimes level themselves into thinking that because they're so loose, people are taking action against them, when in reality they're just waiting for big hands.
And getting to Samantha's play, you know, while Samantha ends up winning nearly $16,000, huge day. Cannuli, by the way, our big winner, up over $23,000 on the day. Dentali, by the way, ends up down 4,100 after he was up 14,000.
Yeah.
Here's a look at it.
And that loss is so much more painful than if he had just lost 4,100. The fact that he was
Dentali,
up,
by the way,
mentally he lost 20,000.
Yeah, Dentali, by the way, only bought in for 5, did not buy in for 38.
Right.
So that is incorrect. But the rest of the board is correct. Getting to Samantha's play, though, I mean, while there were some speculative pre-flop calls,
no question.
I got to tell you, I love the way she changed gears, and I love the way that when pushed, she was able to kind of answer the call and make some aggressive plays that made sense.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. She definitely was the one person that actually threw people for a loop. Siegel a little bit too when he got back from dinner even, changed his play dramatically, but a lot of the other players played pretty much the same style throughout, whereas she really did have fifth gear and first gear, so credit to her. Hosam and Neki, I'll answer your questions. Hang on.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody at Twitch who followed us. Once again, we're back here tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And Alec, once again, I want to thank you.
Thanks,
for
man.
everybody
This was
here at
awesome.
Poker Night in America. Thanks a lot. Looks like Alec's going to stick with you for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'll be around for 15 minutes to answer any questions you guys have. And just thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with us. You guys were an awesome audience, too. So
I will be here tomorrow.
Yep, me too. See you guys at noon. All right, so Hosam, what do you do to mainly stop yourself from getting stressed?